stress.
Oh, fuck. Thank you.
Panago Pizza presents SDP, the Steve Dangle Podcast, with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Let's go!
Ladies and gentlemen, for today, I just want to say...
That rhymed. You got to keep going.
Just want to say, what a glorious day.
Whoa!
No, you already said day.
Noted lyricist Kid Rock did it. Adam can do it.
What's the next?
Does that mean I can also become a crazy Republican guy online? Because Kid Rock certainly did.
Except he's not, but like he is.
There are normal Republicans, and then there are Kid Rock Republicans.
Yes.
No. Now listen. You might call me the king of lyrics, but who would you call the king of the Toronto Maple Leafs for the first 3 games? You see, here's the thing, because we were welcoming our partner, Crown Royal.
Hey.
Crown Royale.
Yes, and why not pour yourself and a friend at Crown Royal, because we're going to talk about who wore the crown when we, with the help of you, recognize one Leafs player each show who gives it their all for the blue and white, because it's our town, it's our crown, and it's not about what you are as a player. It's about what you have to give and how much of yourself you give. So we're going to crown a Leaf every week, every show, that generally is giving it all to the team. And it's brought to you by our friends at Crown Royal. Remember, live generously and life will treat you royally. So let's get into it. I put out a poll on my Twitter last night. And by the way, if you want to tweet us at any time, just use the hashtag #OurTownOurCrown so we can find you. It doesn't have to be at any one of us in particular, but the consensus, and I think rightfully so, from our listeners is Austin Matthews.
Remember all summer, like, we were talking about, like, Matthews versus Marner, and how could you possibly ask for Matthews money?
I think
Any questions? Does anyone have any questions?
It's early in for you to be staring at the camera and ranting.
I don't care.
We're 2 minutes in.
Marner's been good.
Yeah,
Marner's
sure.
been good, but any questions? All right. Sit down and listen to the rest of the class.
Now, and that's fair. That's fair. If you could give a crown to someone other than Austin, because Austin's got 5 goals and I know Jesse's got one.
So who is the prince?
Who is the prince?
We have a king. We need a prince.
You know, he's got 5 goals in 3 games. Mitch Marner's got 5 points in 3 games.
There you go.
First one. Jesse, who would you give your crown to, since you delightfully put up your hand?
My crown goes to William Nylander.
Wow.
Good pick. Great pick.
He was the reason Austin Matthews scored the 1-1 goal last night. He's the one who won that puck battle behind the net, threw it out front, and went to a couple other guys, so he didn't even get an apple on it.
He's a good little thing guy.
Good little thing guy. Yeah. Scored the 4-1 goal.
Man, his assist on Matthews' first goal of the season. Remember?
Yeah.
The give and go.
Which was a carbon copy of Matthews' 4th goal in his 4-goal game.
Right.
And someone pointed out
Right.
that was his 4th goal in his first year, and this carbon copy was his first goal in his 4th year.
Whoa.
Oh.
Whoever did that side by side's a genius and has a way better memory than I could ever hope to have.
Really good, yeah.
They have some would say they have a Steve Dangle-like memory.
Yeah,
Except I got it wrong. I said it was the hat-trick goal.
Nah.
So you say William Nylander for those plays. What are the little things that you're seeing that you're like, man, crown?
It's those things specifically. I think he's been out there. I think people forgot how good he is because of how bad he was for the half season that he got to play last year. And I think when you have a full training camp, you're going to see actual William Nylander. Yeah. And then the thing about the Marner deal that we're all going back to is that William Nylander is on such a great deal now.
Yeah.
Because
it's utterly fantastic.
It's so they cancel each other out. And then let's just appreciate him a little. So I'm giving my first crown of the season to him.
Now, if Jesse gives William Nylander another crown, at some point this season, and then later on, maybe even closer to the playoffs, gives William Nylander another crown, is he now a Trey Croner?
Adam,
I don't know what that means.
Adam,
it's the Swedish
we get a
hockey
shoehorn
jersey.
sponsor
on the Olympic one?
Yeah. And does
yeah.
Jesse have to buy a William Nylander Sweden jersey?
I don't know if
Yes, he does. You know what?
Is that how that works?
Because yes, he does.
That's how that works.
All right, fair enough.
Okay.
Steve, who would you give it to besides the obvious and Austin Matthews?
That's a tough one. I'm gonna. You know who has looked so impressive? It's early in the season and people are irrational. You do a show with one of them, but it's rare that this early on people talk about promoting someone so early, and they're so actually deserving of it. Trevor Moore is one hell of a player.
You picked mine.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, that's okay. I got
What are the
one.
odds I would pick Trevor Moore and to be your guy? Sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
want me to
Please
pick
stop.
another one?
No, continue.
Well, Trevor Moore, the feet, the acceleration, by speed. Mm-hmm. He's got by speed. Mm-hmm. By the second he gets the puck, and what he lacks in size, he makes up with centrifugal force for the science folks, but also just the ability to get under there. He's already low. He doesn't need to get low. He's low to begin with. Stick lifts. Zach Hyman-esque energy in that puck is his. So I got to give it to Trevor Moore.
With Kasperi Kapanen struggling, Kasperi Kapanen's a left winger, is he not?
Well, he's a left winger now.
He's a left winger now.
I think he's a right winger by trade.
So you could make the argument that it might be better for Kasperi Kapanen to be on with Kerfoot, right? I mean, listen, he hasn't played all that great. The air conditioner's on. I got to shut it off.
Yeah. I think that's the workout in the hall.
workout
Sorry.
side, yeah.
I
We're
was
having
thinking the
carpets
same
installed
thing.
in the hallway, by the way,
Yeah.
just in case you hear anything in the mics. Yeah, so...
Sorry about that.
Well, because here's the thing, first off, we'll get to the Kapanen shit from last night, and that's... I get it. People are upset. However, from a purely hockey perspective, if Trevor Moore, who has 3 points in his first 3 games, continues to play like this, if he continues to be this good... why wouldn't you put him on that line with Matthews and Marner? And then you could slot
with Tavares and...
Excuse me.
Marner.
Yes. And then you could slot him on the Kerfoot line, and then you've got Kerfoot and Kapanen on the same line. Imagine the foot speed.
Kerfoot, Kapanen, and Mikheyev, who you could have easily picked him like a really good first 3 games, scored in his first game.
And that's
Superman, people are calling him.
Superman. That's who's going to get my crown. Because,
Mikheyev?
yeah, because it's rare that... And listen, I know this guy's like 24, 25 years old. He's a fully grown man, right?
Yeah.
He's not some kid. The announcers are calling him a kid. I'm like, nope, not a kid.
Established hockey pro.
Yeah,
He's
same
young
age.
in the same way that Bozak was.
Morgan
Forever.
Riley is the same age.
Morgan Riley is both old and a baby.
Yes. He's
at
an
the same
old
time.
baby.
Yes, he's an old baby.
Which babies get to a certain point, like mine is right now, and they all look like old. It's like you either look like Winston Churchill if you're bald, or Danny DeVito, which my baby looks like.
Your baby also has a Mr. Burns haircut.
Yes,
which is
oh my.
incredible.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Oh
my God.
I got to teach her to do excellent.
Yeah.
With the fingertips.
You just do it. That's
You know
a funny
what?
video.
That's what she should be for Halloween.
Mr. Burns.
Yes!
Oh my god.
Oh, perfect. How do we paint a baby that color, the yellow tone that they have? Can you do that?
I think you got to find a way to convert her stroller into like a nuclear waste drum
Or like a limo.
or a limo,
Yeah. And
There are
then
baby
give her a little
limos.
power suit.
a Smithers doll.
Oh my god.
A Smithers
Yes.
doll. Adam, you have to do this.
I think we have to do this.
found it.
I think we found it.
We found it.
So I'm going to give it to Mikheyev because, and I know a lot of people keep calling him Mikheyev. I'm going to call him Mikheyev because I think that's how you actually pronounce it.
Listen, I had a Russian tell me it's Mikheyev.
Okay, so it's Mikheyev.
Until I'm yelled at to do otherwise, it's Mikheyev.
So Mikheyev to me seems like the kind of guy that, like, it's very rare. And again, I know it's the first 10 games of the season. Yeah. And by the way, 15 games in, we're going to be like, I know, it's the first 15 games of the season. There are rare few players, especially established ones, that come over from the KHL and look as good as he has. Like, Panarin looked really good when he started, but Panarin's an otherworldly talent, right?
It makes you wonder what the hell took so long.
Right.
Yeah.
Why is it? And you know, actually, Stephen Birch made a good point. Mikheyev was like a non-factor in the KHL like 3 years ago. And Stephen Birch was saying, well, listen, he got this many points in that whatever. What's the league underneath the KHL?
It's either the MHL or the VHL. One of them's junior, the other's professional. I can't remember
So
which is
this
which.
would have probably been the professional one because he would have been like 22.
I think it's M.
Is
I
it
think
M?
It's M.
So anyway, he said, like, listen, he scored a ton of points in this league. Maybe we ought to start taking it more seriously. Maybe we ought to start taking that league a little more seriously.
And if
at
I'm
least
not
in the top end
mistaken,
talent.
if I'm not mistaken, the Leafs have drafted a few guys like out of their
Interesting.
MHL and the VHL in recent memory. They're a lot of the. I always say with Dubas, I want him to find the diamonds in the rough. Like, and that's what
he has to now.
He has to, but like that's what I always thought he'd be good at.
Right.
The Leafs seem to really be investing over there, so I'm pretty happy about it.
No kidding. So
Because you dig up Mikheyev's.
So listen, here's the deal. So happy to have Crown back. That's who wore the crown for this week. Brought to you by Crown Royal. Next time the puck drops, why not live generously and treat your Leafs crew to a Crown and Cola? They
Yeah.
are quite delicious.
Why not toss him a Crown Royal instead of tossing your stick at the puck carrier?
So
By the way, Crown Apple. Try Crown Apple. Don't sleep on Crown Apple.
sleep on
Yeah, okay. I guess we start with that because that's the game right there.
yeah.
And there was a lot of stuff that led up to that. But if you missed it, Kasperi Kapanen, great shorthanded player, somehow snaps his stick while
11
shorthanded.
seconds left
with
in the penalty.
11 seconds left. They were going to kill the penalty. Stick snaps in half, and he throws it at Shea Weber's stick, which
Was
has
it
the
Shea
puck.
Weber or Jeff Petrie?
Oh, was it Petrie?
think it
Petrie.
was Petrie
yeah,
because
because
he
he
got
had to
shot.
take the penalty shot.
When I was
Right.
watching it, I thought it was Weber.
And Petrie was money on the penalty shot, by the way. Apparently, it's not his first one.
It was a good shot for sure.
We'll get to Hutchinson
Come
in a
on,
second.
bud.
Who
Oh my God.
did you guys see the Bukauskas interview after with Petrie?
No, missed that.
No.
Who was the last Montreal Canadian to score a penalty shot goal in Toronto?
Ooh.
I want to say I
Vladimir
seem to
Malahov.
remember. I want Saku Koivu.
Defenseman, right?
Incorrect.
Oh, you said
no,
player?
just player.
Oh, just player. I
Yeah.
thought it was defenseman. It would help if I listened to the question.
Last Montreal Canadian
I'm
to
going to say
score a penalty
Vincent
shot.
Damphus. Because it has to be a former Leaf.
Steve, do you want another guess?
It's someone. Corey Locke.
Maurice Rocket Richard.
out!
Can you believe
Wow.
that? And then Jeff
Wow.
Petrie. So it goes Rocket Richard, Jeff Petrie.
What year was it?
when he played.
The 40s or 50s. Yeah, holy.
It was the year when he strapped him on.
a
That's the
long
year.
time ago.
You know?
Yeah.
So
anyways,
pre-moon landing.
yeah, I saw that. I thought it was very interesting.
So here's
Wow.
a play that absolutely does not have to happen. And credit to Kapanen after the game. There's a two-part statement that he makes. The first part I'm like, eh. Second part I'm like, okay. First part is I didn't even know that was a rule.
Yeah.
I knew you couldn't do it. I thought it was a penalty.
I think anybody knows you can't
Of course.
do it.
I thought it was a penalty.
I did too.
Everyone thought it was 2 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we can
I
say
think the
that.
Leafs thought it was 2 minutes.
Yeah, and he should know it's 2 minutes. Why are you doing it?
Now, this actually did happen last year, though, in the NHL.
Oh, it
and
did?
And I forgot about this, and I'm not 100% sure I'm remembering it correctly, but it was in one of the Dangets videos.
Oh.
And I want to say it was a game between the Ducks and the Canucks. Sam Steele, who the Ducks picked with a draft pick that the Leafs gave to the Ducks.
For Freddie Anderson.
I'm pretty sure.
Stop being mad. It's Freddie Anderson.
I know. But he got a hat trick last year, and I believe the hat trick goal was because someone it was like the Coyotes or the Canucks, threw their stick.
Wow.
Just went, ugh. And I think it was on the penalty kill as well. Penalty shot, and he scored.
Damn.
He scored. So, but prior to that, I can't remember ever seeing it.
No.
Ever.
No, it just never happens.
Mm-hmm.
So he says he doesn't know it was a rule. Okay, maybe. Fair.
He knew.
He knew it was bad.
I don't think he knew
can't
in
tell
the
me
moment.
that he didn't know it was like. Listen, you could tell me he didn't know that it was a penalty shot.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Kasperi, you can't tell me that you don't know that that's a problem. That's a problem. So
You're not even allowed to play the puck with a broken
Exactly.
stick. Let him throw it at someone.
So then, of course, Petrie gets the penalty shot. He scores. But Kapanen did say, to his credit, after the game, that it was something that he took full responsibility for, and that's nice.
Dude, you got to wear it.
You do got to wear it, and he sure felt like you could see it on the Leafs bench. Like, boy, are they guilty of wearing their heart on their sleeves. Like, yeah, that Leafs bench, even when the fourth goal went in, forget number 5. Fourth goal, dejected.
Dude.
What was that about?
It's a bunch of kids in their early 20s. You know, I don't think they can hide it.
No, stop.
They-
Stop.
they- it's
Fourth
time to
straight
learn.
year.
All right.
Time to
Fourth
learn.
straight year with this.
It's fair.
Fourth straight year. Third game of 2016. The cough up before nothing lead to Winnipeg. Line A hat trick. They lose 5-4. 2017 home opener. They have a 5-1 lead over the New York Rangers. Second game of the season. Rangers tie at 5-5. Leafs ended up winning that. The Carnival against Chicago last year in Game 3. The Leafs come back from down 2-0, and then Matthews scores to make it 6-5, and he does the ear thing. Patrick Kane scores -9 seconds later because Garrett Sparks was just that bad, and they ended up winning it in overtime.
Whoa.
But oh my God, my arteries.
Steve, was Garrett Sparks really that bad, or did he not get his fair shake? There were some tweets last night.
You know,
wishing for Garrett Sparks
Oh
back.
my god!
the jury is no longer. What are you talking?
Anybody who tweeted about Garrett Sparks last night should have their Twitter account suspended.
You know
Like
what?
suspend it for a couple months.
That's fair.
You know, just
That's
take it
fair.
away. You're not allowed to use this anymore.
Well, it's just so not even. It doesn't even matter. Right?
No.
It just does not even matter.
But anyway, they collapsed again early season, and I remember from when the Leafs played the Red Wings for that HBO 24/7 thing when Babcock was still in the Red Wings. And he was barking at his team about, hey, body language.
Right.
Because they had just lost a game. They lost a lot of games during the filming of that. And he goes, hey, body language. Awful. Awful. A bunch of defeated, sad kids on the soccer field.
it was worse
Like-
than the Montreal Canadiens kid crying in the stands
Yeah.
after the 4-1 goal.
Yeah,
It was
way
horrible.
worse.
Yeah.
Horrible. Like, you guys... Dude, get over it. Get over yourselves. I don't know what you got to do. Easier said than done. I'm a pretty sensitive guy. I'm very emotional. I have a lot of emotions. But a few of you, I've seen this happen too many times. And there it is again. There it is again. Fourth straight year within the first 3 games. Traumatic defensive performance. Demoralizing. You carry it with you the rest of the year
It
now.
also looked like they ran out of gas, though. It was 3 games in four
you know what?
nights.
It wasn't even a close game until about 5 minutes left in the second period.
Right, but they even got out to a slow start. Like
Yeah,
in your
yeah, with Domi scoring, yeah.
your Columbus LFR. If you take that beginning, the beginning of the video, do you remember when you go over how they get scored on within the first 15 seconds of every game, start every season? If you take that beginning part of your LFR and you put it into the front of this LFR, it's
And
the same
first,
thing.
And the first one.
It's the same thing.
And the first one. They have terrible starts to the game, and they seem to get down on themselves when times get tough. Like,
yeah, and then mid-game, it seemed they just kind of slowed down. And Montreal came all the way back.
Don Cherry's talking about like their lack of toughness, and they might win around, and that's why they're not. It's not the lack of physical toughness I'm worried about.
Mental toughness.
Like a little bit of Jesus, dude. Like start the game on time, and don't give up 3 straight goals.
Now let's look at the positives here. And there are many.
Yeah,
They scored 5 goals on the best goalie in the world.
Matthews had 2 of them.
Matthews probably could have had 4 had he not snapped his stick.
The Leafs were up 4-1. I know.
I
He could've
forgot
had
that happened until this moment you said it.
He might never get a hat trick again. Because his first game is his only career hat trick. He had one in the preseason, but 2 years ago or something.
He hasn't had a hat trick
He
since.
hasn't had a
And he
hat trick
scored
since
at
his
that
4-goal
pace.
game. Yes.
Wow.
And he almost had the empty netter cut Brandstrom's face. Luckily, he's okay.
Oh, yeah.
There
That
in the
was
first
scary.
game of the season. His stick breaks in this one. And somehow, in a game where the Leafs were up 4-1, they had a 3-goal lead. Matthews, both goals he scored, game tying.
Yeah.
He made it 1-1 and he made it 5-5.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well,
Guy. Oh.
Now, Carey Price, I say that with Carey Price, but he was outstanding in the final frames. And those breakaways that he on Tavares and on Marner. Now, the puck skipped over Marner's stick on the Marner break.
Yeah.
But, as Andrew Berkshire's pointed out to me online, didn't have much to shoot at anyway. And that's true. I mean, like, listen, he after, I don't even know, do you even call Carey Price's start shaky? It didn't seem that way to me. It seemed like the Leafs were just being the Leafs.
Yeah.
It's weird
They're
to
that
say
lethal.
a guy had a good performance when he saved like 30 shots and he
Yeah.
let in 5 goals.
Yeah, someone.
I think he did.
Ken Reed
Yeah.
said it reminded him of Grant Fuhr. Like he allowed the 5, and then once it was tied, he was like
was over.
unstoppable.
Right.
Yeah.
Which the jury's still out there, but in
was outstanding in
overtime
the late
he was
frames.
outstanding. And when it goes to the shootout, no shot.
One thing
I'm
I-
sorry, like Price versus Hutchison. I don't care how
No,
many
you
millions
do.
of dollars worth of forwards, no shot.
And if you're Montreal,
You're
your
not
whole
winning that
goal is to get through that damn overtime.
Yep.
Now, there was I thought that Tavares call was a pretty weak one. The slashing call in
The
overtime.
one in overtime? Yeah.
I thought that was pretty weak.
Which was the
was it hooking?
what Kerfoot on Weber was pretty terrible too.
Yeah, Weber drew that. And that's a smart
Come
play
on
by
now.
Weber.
Come on.
Shea Weber's one of the heaviest guys in the league, and he fell over like he was a bag of potatoes. Like,
Alex Kerfoot.
yeah.
Yeah, from Alex.
I think
You didn't have to fall
Alexander
over.
Kerfoot.
Soaking wet Kerfoot.
I'm pretty sure he'd be the smallest guy in this room.
Yeah.
Oh, Kerfoot? Yeah,
Yeah,
Kerfoot,
for sure.
100%.
He might
Come
even be
on.
the skinniest.
Come on. Oh, he's definitely the
definitely.
skinniest. Well, I don't know. It was Jesse.
But you know what I do say about the Leafs is like, and if we were doing a Montreal Canadiens podcast, I would be thrilled. First
Oh my
off,
God.
it's
They look
Toronto, it's
great.
Saturday night. You'd be like, yeah, F you, man. But also,
Domi.
Domi was
Right
just,
in the camera. Attaboy, Kapanen, you fucking idiot. Clear as day.
Yeah.
Read the lips. Oh, It's got to be a great day to be a Habs fan.
Oh, for sure.
Oh.
And I think...
Makes me sick.
We always make jokes about Max Domi wanting to be a Leaf. He sure loves playing in Toronto. Whether he wants to be a Leaf or not, he sure loves playing here.
Can the Leafs stop ruining gifable Austin Matthews moments?
I know. Forgetting the goal, that was
They
ruined.
lost that game. They lost the 4-goal game. He does the ear thing in Chicago. Friggin' they scored 2 seconds later. And now this with Montreal. They lost that game.
Yeah.
Stop ruining great Austin Matthews moments. God. Terrible.
Do you not feel
Oh,
that
I feel
we
lots.
have a backup story, a backup goalie story development?
Oh my god.
Who do you get? Like, so many...
I'm not. I'm not even jumping to that.
Okay.
I think the question tomorrow, beyond Kasperi Kapanen
Don't you
being
dare.
the new William Nylander,
No, new Jake Gardner.
new name Jake Gardner.
That's what the Twitterverse is running
Good
with.
point. Wow.
It's
Yeah.
always got to be someone, eh?
Yeah, you have to dump on someone.
In the preseason, people are like, I think we're about to make it Alexander Kerfoot. And then he's had a decent...
Why?
But because it had to be someone.
He was the guy on the team. That's it.
It's like the Miley Cyrus episode, or no, the Britney Spears episode of friggin' South Park. It just has to be someone.
Has to be.
Sacrifice. And Kerfoot dove off the altar, and Kapanen was going too fast and accidentally slid onto it.
Yeah. Can it be Nick Petan? And not because we don't like Nick Petan.
No.
Because Nick Petan's not going to play much. So
No, he has like an
Nick Petan.
immunity idol. He can't go on the altar.
And I can't see Spezza either, because if he doesn't play, the city burns down.
Let me hold off on that, because I want to get to that shit for the second straight episode.
Doesn't it? It feels like our last show was a month ago.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
So much has
Honestly.
happened.
Now,
3
I hate
games in 4 days.
I hate to ask this question because it is too early, but do we have another backup goalie storyline developing? Like, was Hutchinson's play last night passable?
No.
Really?
It was.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember being like, wow, that's actually a pretty good goalie performance.
They played tight defense?
Leafs had a really tight defense. There was 9 or 10 minutes there in I want to say the second, where the Habs didn't even have a shot on net, which is pretty good. Hutchison made a few saves. Dude, score effects are always a thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're always a thing.
And
The team that's losing is going to get...
For anybody that doesn't know what score effects are, contextualize that.
Oh, it's just the team that's losing is going to start to give up more shots. And the team that's
Winning.
losing... Yeah, the team that's winning is going to start to give up more shots. The team that's losing is going to... It's going to tilt in their favor. And apparently it's true, like, across sport.
Oh.
Yeah. If
Like-
you're up 6-1, the other team's going to have more shots than
So the point is
the
not
team that's
to...
winning.
You shouldn't take your foot off the gas. You should just continue attacking.
Yep.
So defense doesn't win championships.
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. And so many times the team that's losing will start to cheat, and then all of a sudden they have this porous defense, and there's all these you can get around them and get an easy odd man rush. Dude, everything went through Hutchison, and I know a penalty shot's a penalty shot. For crying out loud! Like he had the. I'll evoke Garrett Sparks' name. He had the Garrett Sparks overcommitment on 1,000 last night.
On the penalty shot, like you said, he went to the glove side. He's like, oh, Petry's going to shoot glove side. And he still beat him glove side.
I know.
It went under his
Hold
glove,
on.
even though Hutchison was there waiting for the glove side shot.
It's-
it was weird.
And there were 2 times where the puck didn't go in, and you see the play going on around him. Other players have spotted the puck. They're going like they're skirting around the net to go to it. He's sitting there going, I don't know where it is. It was at least 2 times.
Well, that
And-
the fourth goal, I want to say, he had no idea.
Yeah. Here we are talking about the 4th goal was a penalty shot goal.
Okay, fifth goal?
Must have been.
Because it was, I think it was this. Didn't Domi have 2? Whoever scored the last goal? Anyway, it was. No,
I haven't watched the highlights.
It's Philip Deneau, I think.
I think it was Philip Deneau. I haven't watched the highlights. I can't do it. I can't bring myself to do it. But
You guys kept saying glove side there, and I kept thinking like, D2. Sounds like D2. Go blocker side.
he's fancy.
Mighty Ducks,
But
baby.
here we are, 3rd game of the season. We're talking about another backup.
Are we though?
Yeah.
I know that's the conversation, but is it?
Freddie's in net. They win that game. So we're talking
Freddie's
about
in
the
net.
backup.
They win most games. That's why they start
Yeah.
Freddie. He's
Great.
the best goalie in the world.
Well,
One of them anyway.
It wasn't a net. They lost. There it
Fair
is.
enough. Well, I have to say, I liked Hutchinson's performance until the Leafs stopped playing defense in front of him. And the thing is, a guy like that, it seems like he's good until there's a lot of scrums, like sustained pressure.
Doesn't
now,
deal
Freddie's
with-
really good at
yeah.
a scrum, like where there's where it's chaotic.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can say that for anybody, but Freddie does really well in chaos. Michael Hutchison does not seem to, and it's funny. They seem to figure that out because they would apply lower pressure. They weren't kicking it out to the point. Like the Leafs kept using their point men, which was awesome to see. Like there's a real confidence in the Muzzin and the Barry and obviously Morgan Riley. Those guys get the puck a lot when they're in the offensive zone.
Part of the reason the Habs power play I thought was sort of ineffective was they just kept throwing it over to Weber in the Ovechkin slot and blasting it. No,
Why, though?
Put the puck on low and hope for a rebound in front, which you're likely to get.
Because his
then you got a
rebound control
chance.
was not good last night. I would say that Hutchinson's rebound control was not good last night.
No. Who had the tweet last night? And it was like, rumor is the Habs are still trying to feed Weber the puck. I saw that like this morning. It was very funny.
No, but then there was one that just whizzed right by,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the top corner. I'm like, okay, well, I guess he still has that touch of God in him, that crazy standing still slap shot that he's got. But they lost.
So, on top of the Leafs losing last night, they were also disrespectful losers.
Were they?
Ah.
Oh, what's this now?
They were disrespectful losers.
Thank God I was hanging out with friends last night and staying off Twitter.
to Jason Spezza.
Oh, God.
Because-
Okay.
Jason Spezza's first hockey night in Canada as a Toronto Maple Leaf.
Oh, they were saying that about the third.
Show him some respect and play him on his first hockey night in Canada at home in Toronto in front of his family, who I don't actually think were in attendance because he wasn't
Well,
playing.
he hasn't played a home game yet.
Yeah.
He's
well,
also been playing for 82 years, and I'm sure they've seen him
they've
play
seen him
hockey by this
no,
point.
but it's with the Toronto Maple Leafs, and they could have seen him play 7.5 to 9 minutes. No, here's the thing. So Don Cherry goes on last night,
Yeah.
and that's one of the first things he says is just disrespectful. He's like, Babcock's a winner. We'll see how it works out for him. I think it'll work out just fine. Jason Spezza's a fourth liner. But Mike Babcock is doing something here, and he doesn't give a shit about the schedule. He's got 5 players, and he's given them 10 games, 5 each, to figure out who the ultimate 3 guys on the fourth line are going to be and who's the depth.
I'd like him to give more of a shit, but yes, continue.
Spezza is a part of that. And in that role that he's been playing in Dallas in the last few years, I hate to burst everyone's bubble, because listen, I love
Yes.
having Spezza on the team. He hasn't been that good. He's been a drag on possession, and he's been terrible defensively.
Here, let me give you his last 6 years. Okay? 66 points in 75 games. Wow. 62 points in 82 games.
Great.
Wow. 63 points in 75 games. Wow. 50 points in only 68 games.
That's
okay.
pretty good.
Wow. 26 points in 78, 27 in 76. The fall off was hard and fast.
Yes.
So get it out of your head that he is what he used to be, because I think that's where some of it's coming from. I watched him play in the preseason, and I thought he absolutely deserved the fourth line center role. But let's stop imagining Jason Spezza as the 60, 70, 80, 90 point guy that we remember
He's
from
not.
2007.
He's not. And let me just say this, too. For anybody that feels that Spezza's being disrespected, including Mike Commodore, who, by the way, can we do a quick sidebar? What is the history with Mike Commodore and Mike Babcock again?
Babcock scratched him because he was at the end of his career and not good anymore.
And
And that's
Commodore didn't
nothing
like that.
against Mike Commodore. That's what it was.
Was Mike Commodore
What?
ever that good? He was good in Calgary.
He would tell
in
you
the-
he
on
was. He won
their
a Stanley
run.
Cup. Yeah, went
It
to the
was-
Stanley Cup final twice. I think he
But, well, he
went
was
to the
never an
final with the
all-star.
Flames, and I think he won it with the Hurricanes. Whoa, Adam, that's
wasn't.
That's
think
very not everyone is born with the God-given talent of Austin Matthews.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay.
You got to respect the role players.
You're right. Oh, and it's not that I don't, but it's like, dude, like how many years ago was that? Chill out. I guess it's just a bit on Instagram. Or
People don't
on
forget.
Twitter. It's a bit on Twitter too. It
It's a
gives,
bit.
It garners
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
It garners him attention.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
it's fun to hate on the Leafs. Let's be honest. But
It's really hard to do, eh?
Oh, it's so, so
yeah.
easy to
It's a
hate on the
shame. It's people should really capitalize on that because no one does it. People say that's a really untapped market.
People always say that fruit is hanging really high. Yeah. It's like way up there.
When do they win the cup again? But no, with Spezza,
It's been a long time.
With Spezza, they're talking
Did you know?
about. Don Cherry was talking about veterans and talking about respect.
Mm-hmm.
And let me ask you this:
No.
Jason Spezza is a veteran,
Yes.
but what has Jason Spezza ever done for the Toronto Maple Leafs?
He signed a contract.
He signed a contract.
Uh-huh. He showed up to training camp.
He did, which is part of the contract.
He put on his jersey.
part of the contract.
His helmet.
I hate to
Yep.
have
Been old.
Here's
Yeah.
the thing.
Had
And this is
experience.
nothing against Jason Spezza personally, who I sincerely hope works out here because it's so cool that he's on the Leafs.
Same. Oh, besides the cup-winning goal.
Jason Spezza hasn't done shit but play 7.5 or 8 minutes for the Leafs in one game. Why should Jason Spezza, brand new player to the Toronto Maple Leafs organization, be afforded any more respect than any other player?
So wait,
This
Don
is not
Cherry said this?
Yeah, and yes, he did. And this is the thing: like, if this is John Tavares in 6.5 years, and John Tavares' fall off is big, who knows? I hope it's not. But let's say John Tavares is coming down to the end of his contract, and Mike Babcock still is somehow the head coach, and John Tavares doesn't get to start in game X, and that's disrespectful. I can get with that because John Tavares at that point will have been a Leafs for like 7 years.
Yeah.
And he will have been the captain. Who knows if he still will be at that point, but he will have committed to this city and done great things in this city. Right?
Right.
Jason Spezza is brand fucking new. He hasn't done a thing for the Leaf sweater. And that's not to say he can't or he won't or that I don't want him to. But what respect does he deserve when he's never played here?
Well, and we can't talk out of both sides of our mouth and criticize Mike Babcock for tie goes to the veteran and then get mad about this.
Right.
Do you want him to... To me, it's more important that he ditch that mantra
Yes.
than Spezza plays in the first 2 home games.
And I think he has ditched that mantra because the veterans aren't as good anymore.
No. And you know what? If I was Mike and it was my decision, I would have reversed it. I would have had Spezza play
The opener?
the 2 home games, and Shore would have played Columbus. But I'm not him. He seems to think... It was odd to me that they went with a 4th line that had never played together in the preseason. I don't think Timashov, Shore, Gauthier was ever a thing in the preseason. There were a lot of lines, so maybe I'm forgetting it. That was peculiar to me. Mm-hmm. But I really... Dude, look at how they've played offensively the first 2 games. I'm over it.
Yeah.
I'm super over it. That's not what I've had a problem with.
No. And that's... I guess the point I have here is that I think there's a lot of people making a lot about this stuff because it's an easy thing. This is a media-driven thing. And these vanilla-ass takes on Jason Spezza? What is he, 36? This guy, listen,
I think
he's done
37.
great things. He's been to the Stanley Cup Finals. He was a big part of Dallas when he showed up there. He was a big part of them for, 4 years? And, in the last couple of years, veteran leader. You like a guy like that. You love the fact that he's from Toronto.
There it is.
But are
Canadian.
are
Jason
you-
Spezza's from Magnitogorsk. We don't hear shit about this.
Exactly. What?
We don't hear a single thing about
so
this.
chill out with these stupid takes. Like, I saw so many, I was embarrassed for some of the radio guys I saw last week, sitting on their pulpit, going, I can't believe the disrespect for Jason Spezza. 26-point getter Jason Spezza.
I was surprised, and I didn't like that they didn't even announce him or any of the scratches. I didn't like that, but
but when does Spezza become bigger than the fucking leaf on the chest? He's Jason Spezza.
I agree
At
with you.
36.
It's possible. I think it's possible for me to be like, I wouldn't have done it that way, but also I don't really care.
Right. Exactly.
Can I throw out my theory as to why I think Don Cherry goes to bat so hard for Jason Spezza?
Yeah.
And I think it's really
interested.
simple. He drafted him for the Mississauga Ice Dogs when he owned the team. This is his guy going back to 2001 when this kid was a teenager.
And they had
He
lots
said,
of success.
hey, Toronto boy, come to Mississauga, play for the Ice Dogs at the Hershey Center. I'm the coach, I'm the GM, I'm the owner. I'm Don Cherry. And then now he sees him 20 plus years later getting scratched. And he's like, that's my guy. I'm going to go on national television and fight for him.
But yeah, what you used to
Interesting.
do for Mike Zigomanis a lot too. You'd hear him.
Oh,
I want
my
to bring up
God.
Zigomanis, and nothing against Mike Zigomanis. It was very weird.
And again,
he
the
picks
4th
guys.
line center.
He picks guys.
And I remember back then being like, he's great at faceoffs. I'm like, I still remember the argument. I go, he's taken 8. I still remember
8
it. I
faceoffs.
had to scream it that many times that I remember it like a decade later. Mike Zigomanis had taken 8 faceoffs.
Right.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
And now he's on the radio.
Now
he's on Sportsnet Radio on the morning show with Scott MacArthur and Ashley Docking.
And he's also on the
6 to 9 every morning.
He's also on the
Nice.
Marlies broadcast too, because I was watching the Marlies game. Timothy Liljegren had a
And he's good.
boomer shot
Yeah.
from Bracco.
Nice.
The
I like
power play
Ziggy.
looks good.
I like Ziggy,
Sure.
but it's like
It's not about Ziggy. It's not about Spezza.
No.
Yeah.
It's about the circus surrounding this shit. And this is what I mean. I want Jason Spezza to succeed because I think it's cool as hell that he's playing for the Leafs. This is a guy that Leaf fans loved to hate, especially after that last
I think
video came out. but
Leaf
had
fans of a certain age.
a grudging respect for
Yeah.
because he was so fucking good against us.
Yeah.
He was so scary good,
Yeah.
especially with him and Heatley teamed up. Oh my god!
Him, Heatley, and Alfredson was the touch of death.
So it's so
Like-
cool that he's here.
It was the 2007 version of the Legion of Doom.
That was the 50 and 07, baby.
Oh my god! When they hit the ice, it was a bad day. It
Yeah,
was
it
a
was.
bad day,
It
man.
was. Now, it was interesting. I was watching, and I don't know, a lot of people didn't catch this. So Mike Babcock did an interview with Christine Simpson,
Okay.
who we love.
Yeah,
who is-
I missed so much
Chris Simpson
last
is
night.
potentially the most positive person you could ever meet in your entire life. You want to talk about like someone who literally walks with an aura. That's Chris Simpson.
I've heard her complain about something while smiling.
Yeah, and it was probably like,
she's
but
just-
you know, there's nothing you can do about it, so you
Yeah,
might as well just
no.
be extremely happy. Like,
What
I
are you
am."
gonna do?
Right.
And I'm just
And
like,
it's
you're
not-
right.
It's not fake. That's just really how she is.
It's 100. Yes, that's who she is. She's authentic.
But she did. She was talking about. She was interviewing Mike Babcock, and it was a good little interview. And the way she got into the question about, hey, you know, you might be on the hot seat this season, was quite interesting. So I encourage you to go back and watch it. But and that's with Sportsnet. But one of the things that he said is, he said, you know, I couldn't conduct a press conference with a bunch of reporters if I read what they were saying about me because I'd probably treat them terribly. He admits that. He says I would probably hate them. But what he did say, and I thought that was a good quote. The better quote that no one said anything about is Mike Babcock admitted to having Twitter.
What?
He said, I got 4 or 5 guys I follow on Twitter for news, and the hunting and fishing channel is 363 on Sirius XM. And I was like, wait a second. 4 or 5 guys you follow on Twitter. Interesting.
Steve Dangle.
No.
Let's run through the list.
0% chance.
Birch, because like that's just
Birch for sure.
constant information.
Yeah.
Like you can't not
Dumb
follow
decision.
Birch. Dumb decision. Yeah.
You guarantee Mike Babcock's like, that Birch guy doesn't tweet enough. I need more.
He logged into Twitter, and it's just Stephen Birch's orange picture all the
So
way
we
down.
got 3. 4 is SN Stats.
SN Stats,
Because
for
you
sure.
can't not follow SN
Interesting.
Stats.
Okay,
And then we
okay.
need a 5th. Probably like the Leafs.
Like Jimmy Fallon.
Miley Cyrus.
Is Jimmy Fallon the Twitter common denominator? Does everyone basically follow Jimmy Fallon, or at least see a Jimmy Fallon tweet a day?
There it is. I see it. I
It
don't
used
follow.
to be Ashton Kutcher.
Yes!
Do you remember when Ashton Kutcher was the like default follow
Yes.
on Twitter?
And he had that
Yeah.
fight with CNN about who could get to 1 million followers
Yeah.
first.
It was a simpler
CNN
time.
Oprah? That was a
Yeah.
crazy time. Those were fun days.
That was like 10 years ago
yeah.
now.
Fifth guy's
Yeah.
Mike Commodore. Or just spitting chiclets. I don't know. I don't know which one.
Is Mike Commodore on Chicklets?
I think he's just a recurring guest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He'd be perfect.
He's not a regular,
He'd be
no.
perfect for that show.
Yeah.
I wonder if you were to get Commodore out in a bar and actually get him to have a couple pints with you, which I don't imagine would be too hard. He seems like a guy that likes to have a good time.
Yes.
If you could get him to admit whether or not this is a real hatred, or if it's just like, nah, I found my thing.
Right.
Because he
I
also
think
created the pack your shit stuff, which is hilarious.
Pack your shit is really good. I think it's real, but like, it's not that real.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
What do you think about it? Oh, screw that guy. But, whatever. Anyway, let's have another drink.
Yeah, okay. All
It
right.
developed because of something real, but it's turned into something else.
Yeah.
Which is,
yeah.
yeah.
It's just, it's on brand. He is on
Right.
brand. It's either Babcock hate or pack your shit.
Absolutely.
Are we getting to Cherry's other comment that everybody
Now, is
blew
it
up
Leafs
about?
related, or is this Mike Smith related?
The Leafs related
Oh,
one.
please continue with the Leafs comment. Go ahead.
When he said they're not tough enough to get to the second round.
Oh, that one.
He led Coach's Corner. Well, he did the bank pass, and then the second point was that the Leafs aren't tough enough.
I sure hope Freezing Cold Takes kept a piece of that one for their Instagram account.
He said that the toughness is what's going to keep them from winning the Stanley Cup.
Right.
What did you guys think of that?
I hate reruns.
Yeah. I mean,
Come on, Don.
Before it was the fact that there were not enough Canadians on the team, not enough local kids, which I found like even members of my family repeating back to me. Like I remember when they were like when they drafted Nylander and they had a few other guys and stuff, and they're like, yeah, when the turnaround was happening, right? But we were in the middle of it. Like not enough local guys. I'm like, well, they drafted Marner. Nah, they needed a big guy like Hanifin. And it was like, so the goalposts change, right?
Yes.
Marner's a local kid. Mm-hmm. But it's like, no, we want Noah Hanifin, though. Where the hell does Noah Hanifin even come from?
I want to say he's American.
I think he is.
Could have Hadifin? Okay, I don't remember.
Norwood, Massachusetts.
Yep.
There you go.
Norwood, Mass.
So it goes from, yeah, but they drafted Marner to, no, they need a big man on defense. And then it's, Matthews gets drafted, and Don made a few veiled shots about that. Like, Don Cherry has never... You never hear him say too much positive about Austin Matthews. Not that he doesn't feel positive, but you never hear him say, like, hey, that Matthews kid sure plays like a Canadian. Like, would be a compliment to Don.
Except for saying that the thing was the charges weren't a big deal. In the paper. I was like, ooh... that was just like a Mad Libs of all the things I didn't want to read. Ooh, he said what? Ooh, it was in the Sun. Ooh, Joe Warmington. Jesus, Don.
Well, Don only reads one newspaper, and it's that one.
No, so he reads 0 newspapers.
Right.
The Toronto Sun is not a newspaper.
Yeah,
it's a tabloid magazine.
It's a
you
paper.
can use. Yeah, it's fish.
They use
fish
paper.
wrap.
Yeah, it's on paper. That's
on
for sure.
paper.
It's fish wrap.
No, I thought the hilarious comment last night was Don Cherry, because he is Don Cherry, being very bombastic about Calgary. Now, he never really rips Calgary that often. And I
Lost
feel like
in 5 in the first round.
Some people in Calgary are like, hey, that guy doesn't talk about us enough. It's always about the stupid Leafs, which is fair, but it also happens during Leaf games. And he said, how could Calgary give this guy up? This guy is one of the best. Calgary's insane.
Oh.
And the guy's name is Mike Smith.
Mike Smith.
Who had an .898 save percentage last year, and after last night is off to a blazing .892. Now,
dude.
Now let me throw this out there. The reason that Don Cherry, and I'm just contextualizing this for anybody that didn't see it, okay? So let me do that. The reason Don Cherry said that they are nuts to give up a guy like Mike Smith at 37 or 38 years old.
He's up there. I think he's older than Jason Spezza.
Like, he was on the 2010 gold medal winning team as the third goalie. Like, he was the taxi goalie.
Was he?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, that was Flower, wasn't it?
No, Flower, I think, was 2014.
Oh, look it up.
Look it up.
Yeah, look at it.
2010 Olympics?
Yeah, I believe so.
What's the bet here?
Mike Smith.
Mike Smith was on the 2010. Who are you saying?
I think it was Flower.
Flower. Who loses? What happens?
I don't know.
Adam's got to shut up.
It's going to be difficult. In the middle of the podcast.
Yeah, I think that's not an option here. But go ahead.
Just Steve gets a 1-up when it comes to our podcast trivia. Okay.
All right.
I get a 1-up.
Whatever. Okay.
So Jesse's looking it up. So he's going, Mike Smith.
I take it if I needed it.
This great goaltender. Look at these clips of Mike Smith handling the puck. Wow,
great.
He can make a great breakout pass. Wow, there's Mike Smith going into the corner. Kind of like my boy Gary Cheevers. He didn't actually say that, but you know what I'm saying.
I would believe it if he said Gary
right,
Cheevers.
because that's what 70s goalies did. They handled the puck a lot more than they do now.
Yeah, and you know what else they did? Like smoked.
Yes.
Like all kinds of other.
Sure.
It's another.
The point I'm trying to make is that last night, after he was, and in Mark Spector's word, lauded as a puck-handling wizard, literally handed the Kings a pair of freebies, then battled into the dying seconds as the Kings pressed for an equalizer with the goalie pulled in two-man and James Neal scored.
He isn't good.
No. And if you go back and you watch the highlights, and I know you've been avoiding them because of the Leafs highlights, he literally hands the puck to Anze Kopitar.
I saw the GIF.
Who is in the middle of the fucking ice. Like, he's not even in the offensive zone. So that made me laugh.
I want to say it was acting a fool him in. Like, you just had that chart. Should I be handling the puck? Are you a skater? Yes. Are you a goalie? No. And like, that was it. Like, every now and then, it's a great play. And like, they put together a compilation of him, helping to advance the puck. But for every time he does like, what would you rather have? He advances the puck well 3 times, but for every 3, it goes in the back of your net? Like, just breaking the puck out of your zone doesn't necessarily lead to a scoring chance.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But if it's a scoring chance against it, like it's a lot. If a mistake happens, it's a lot closer to your net than theirs.
Yes.
Yeah, it's every now and then. He's one of the most fascinating goalies still in the National Hockey League. He handles the puck completely differently from pretty much anyone else. He has this crazy ability to get 3 straight shutouts and then be the worst goaltender in the league for the rest of the month. He's fascinating. He also likes to fight.
Did we bring up that his save percentage is lower than it is last year?
Yeah,
No,
it's an 8.92.
I mean,
It was 8.92 and it was 8.98.
I mean,
It got listen, you
1 or 2 games in for him.
Sure.
But the thing is that like
Plays for the undefeated Edmonton Oilers.
the Oilers are undefeated, and thank God McDavid exists because he scored within the first minute.
He is. I'm gonna stick to it, man. They're 1 or 2 players away from being great. He's a cheat code.
And like half a goalie.
They're a marginal improvement on either of Smith or Koskinen.
Isn't that the most frustrating thing about the Oilers, though? It's that it seems so simple to put together this good team.
No, but we can't.
Because you can go.
If it was simple, they would have done it. You Toronto cock or whatever.
Your defense
Set
score
all
is
of
kind of
Alberta?
set.
Like
Your defense score is set. Your top 3 middle, if you tell them to play there,
No.
is McDavid, Draisaitl,
No.
Nuge,
Yeah, no,
and then just fill in some some wingers that are decent.
but have you considered you're from Toronto and a piece of shit? No, you haven't. You
I
haven't factored
haven't
that into your
taken that
analysis.
into
Yeah.
no.
With your bias.
There was a really nice setup with McDavid to Draisaitl to Cassian.
I don't believe it.
Yeah.
And Neil had his first 2 of the season too. The Oilers they looked defensively porous.
He needs 5
But
more
good.
matches total from last year.
Yeah,
He's getting there.
right. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's weird because their offense has looked incredible and their defense has looked so shaky.
And yet, you would say, if you were to look at it on paper, overall, I would say overall, except, Connor McDavid, balance-wise, they're better on defense, you would think.
Yeah.
Like, they have some really great pieces. Clefbaum, Nurse, Bears playing now. Like, there's some really good stuff coming up for Edmonton, and I was I was laughing after this game, too, while I was taking notes, too, because the thing that stood out to me was I think the argument on air and online in Edmonton this week was about do you start the better goalie or do you start the higher paid goalie? And that was in reference to Mikko Koskinen making more than Mike Smith. And
4.5 versus $2 million.
right,
He makes
Mike Smith makes $2 million.
He makes $2 million at 37. Yeah, and Koskinen's
good for him.
31, 4.5.
So they were arguing,
You could have Louis
Mike
Domingue
Smith.
for free.
Mike Smith is
Coulda-
the second goalie, but he doesn't make as much, but he should probably play more because he's better. That was the argument. Now it's 1 game, but I think we have an entire season last year in Calgary to realize not only Calgary finished first in its division, and he still had an 8.98.
Yeah.
But he was good in the playoffs.
Oh, okay.
He was. It was weird.
They were so good. They were out in 5 games.
You know why? Lack of toughness.
I was shocked.
They were lacking toughness. That's why.
They were so good they couldn't even win a round.
Yeah, listen, I'm coming from a team that only made it 7 games. I'm just saying.
You're coming from your Toronto piece of
You're
shit.
right. You're right. You're right.
Is that what they're changing the team name to?
Toronto piece of shits.
Yeah,
Toronto elite piece of shits. What do people from Alberta think Toronto is like?
I don't think everybody from Alberta thinks
No,
this
I
way.
know
think
that.
It's a very small
I know that
percentage.
it's got to be. This has to be a tough listen for people from Alberta, but
I know, I think the ones that know, and then I think the ones that don't
won't ever.
won't ever. You can't convince them otherwise. They'll never come here. They've never been
I
here.
get tweets and I know I shouldn't dwell on them, but I look at them. I'm like, oh fuck, this person's going to work tomorrow, and everyone at their workplace has to deal with them, in real life, and I just think of how awful that must be. Oh my God!
Well,
this
unless you're going
person's
to
just
work-
poisoning an entire community.
Unless they're going to work with a bunch of people just like them.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Oh.
Yeah, listen, things are rough in Alberta right now in an economic sense, and they have been for about 5 years. So I can understand the anger.
That's fine. Don't be mean to me.
But but I don't understand how that translates to hockey. But anyway, listen, Calgary's got its 40th anniversary season, which is really cool. Canucks and Flames. Flames won 2-0 last night. Rittich to me is the story.
Big save, Dave.
44 saves.
He was real good.
He was real good. He
They-
earned that shutout. The Canucks looked really good.
They got into big penalty trouble.
Yeah.
Too, for a while, I want to say, in the second period. Watched a little bit of the late game.
I think, it's funny, Jesse picking the Canucks to make the playoffs this year. I still don't know if I believe that, but they are a hell of a lot more fun than they were even 18 months ago. Like last year, they were a fun watch, but now it's like they're fun. Oh, and they could win too.
Really strange power play setup.
Yeah.
Like okay, we're going to let
explain
Besser
that.
do everything.
So explain for anybody that hasn't seen it. How are they setting that up?
Like, it's like they didn't have a bumper, but they did, and they just had Besser sort of attack from the high slot, and that was sort of the plan. Or are you thinking something else?
No, that's what yeah.
It was weird. Also, you know who I noticed was on the top power play? Unless I just caught them on a weird line change? Josh Levo.
Of course.
But I never saw him handle the puck because Besser had it the whole time.
Right.
Barely even saw Pedersen with the puck, which seems like a bold strategy, Cotton.
I forgot to mention this in the Leafs thing, just as a for Leaf fans.
Oh,
okay.
yeah, sure.
How much better?
Let's get off of the Western Canadian teams, Adam,
No.
and go back to the elitist
Toronto.
cuck,
People.
Twitter, whatever, Toronto Maple Leafs. They love that word. It's
They
their
do love that
favorite word.
It is a satisfying word to say, I think. It's the
It's
like,
really...
like the F word ends like that. Like there's a
funny to say when you don't mean it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you do mean it, you're a dipshit. But
Dipshit's pretty good, too. Also, asswipe.
I like that.
Mrs. Dangle's trying to bring back asswipe.
Asswipe's good. Ass clown's a good one.
It's good.
Yeah,
it's good.
I don't know what that could possibly be. What is an ass clown? Like, what is that?
It's just the word ass followed by how you feel about that person. Like, to me, the least imaginative insult that is prevalent today is fuckboy. It's just fuck followed by the person you're describing.
Yeah, their gender.
Yeah.
I fucked
Fuck
that guy.
boy. No, it's just... I dislike that boy.
Yes, yeah.
You could easily
but
call
it's
them
supposed to be
dislike boy.
Those
Hate boy.
dislike boy.
Shitty boy. Like it's just a garbage insult to me. It's completely lacking in creativity, but it gets right to the point.
It does. It
Fuck
does.
boy.
There's something about it too that's like, ooh, I don't want to be a fuck boy. Fuck you.
This is a tough listen if you have kids.
No, listen.
I'm sorry.
No, what I did want to quickly mention, and we'll get to this later on in the year, I'm sure. But the Leafs power play second unit with Barry and Nylander on it, wow, does that look much improved?
Yeah, I still would like to see the top power play unit play more, but like when they send out the second one, I'm like, yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Right, that's fine.
Can I also aside the Leafs? What's with them playing so many games at the beginning of the season?
I don't know.
The Philadelphia Flyers don't play their third game of the season until next Saturday. The Leafs hit 3 yesterday.
Whoa.
Oh my god.
What the hell is with that?
Well, and they're trying to offset it. This is the worst thing. They're offsetting it by having the Leafs play at home for the majority of their game.
Yeah.
So they're just shredding through their available home schedule.
That sucks.
To start the season.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
you're going to be playing so much on the road.
It's 2 years in a row.
Yep.
Remember last year they had like 60 games in January.
Can they not put in a call to the league and go, hey, we're one of your big financial backers. Can you maybe lighten up on the schedule?
Just chill out.
It's like the Leafs in New York and Boston. They can all probably make a call and go, hey, listen, we donate a lot of money to your cause.
I'm sure there's a reason behind it all. And like there is a trade-off. But kind of...
Yeah. I suppose you want to
difficult.
get it out of the way at the beginning of the season.
Right.
If you are going to play a lot of games, it's better to have it at the beginning than the end.
Especially if they're bad opponents and you beat up on them.
And
which is
how many
good.
back-to-backs in October? Like 4?
A couple,
3?
yeah, because
At
you
least 3.
were running through the goalie back-to-backs
the
just in case
schedule.
they want to switch them.
In the LFR,
and then
yeah.
there was like 4 of them.
There were at least 3.
Yeah,
In
there's
the
one.
first month?
Yeah,
So there was this one. There's one in.
They've already had one.
There's
Yeah.
1 week where they have 2 back-to-backs in the
which
same
is
week.
That's crazy.
And they have
What are they? What are they?
Well, hold on. So they got one. So this week we're going into no back-to-backs, and then
Right.
the next week on the 15th and 16th they've got a Minnesota, and then the second night's the Capitals.
Like that was the one where I was arguing. Like
That's where you start Freddie the second game.
I think so.
Yeah.
No.
I agree that you usually don't.
You
but
just want to get that. You want to guarantee.
you
want to
lock up the points. Yeah,
Then
That's-
here's
I'm not
another,
buying the.
Here's another great back-to-back, guys.
No, but you're surrendering points. They're not going to win that second game.
you
No,
don't
but
know
you're
that.
getting. Yeah, you also don't know that. You're also getting the points in the first game.
You
don't know
play
that.
to win the game.
You play to win the game.
Hello.
Thank you, Jim Moore, for that amazing clip. I don't even know if Jim Moore is still with us, but God, that
No,
clip rules.
yeah,
Is he?
never
Okay.
mind. No, go.
October 21st and 22nd, Columbus Blue Jackets. Hey, that's not a bad way to start the back-to-back.
Again.
Boston Bruins. Like on the second
You're just going to
half.
feed Hutchison to the frickin' Lions in TD Garden, too.
Yes. Oh, yeah, of course.
It's a back-to-back with travel. They're both back-to-back with travel.
And then.
Oh, my friggin' God.
And then again, Montreal on the back.
This is what I'm trying to get to.
What the hell?
Montreal on a back-to-back again in 3 Saturdays.
And that's a home and away. It's like not even you're not even standing anymore.
It's
In-
San
They're
Jose to
all home and
Montreal.
away.
In a 12-game span... No, sorry.
Come
in a
on.
12-day span, the Leafs have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games, 6 of which are part of a home and away back-to-back.
And let's not forget, California to Montreal. They're flying from San Jose to Montreal in the middle of the
No,
back-to-back.
no. They're flying Toronto to
Oh,
Montreal.
Toronto to Montreal. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
no.
I thought that was over.
That would be
Lesson to whoever made this mistake in the Leafs front office. When the hag comes to your door and offers you a rose, take it. Holy cow, is that awful.
I don't get that.
Well, the reference is Beauty and the Beast.
No, the schedule.
Oh, okay.
Just saying that's the second deep reference that Steve's made in consecutive shows.
A Disney film is not deep.
Like, even the Boston game, just move it to the... Well, I don't know about the schedule and what's booked and whatever, but like...
There has to be
wouldn't
a
it-
reason for it. But
Yeah, the ACC must be packed in October.
their
sorry,
October's
what?
a nightmare.
Oh, sorry, I said the ACC.
The Scotia.
Damn
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
The
Jesse.
SBA.
Jesse, Scotiabank essentially paid for John Tavares. How dare you?
It's true.
But
And
like,
Kawhi.
and Kawhi.
Oh,
Like that's a other than a lot of the games are at home. That's a miserable schedule. And like I know this shouldn't factor in. And like I'm looking at the end of the month.
Yeah.
You got San Jose, Montreal. I would probably San Jose is going to have shitty goaltending too. Like have Martin Jones has been terrible. Why not have Hutchison play that game at home and then give I know this shouldn't factor too much into your strategy. Don't give Hockey Night in Canada Michael Hutchison.
Well, if they won't give
Last
him
year they
Jason
did that with
Spezza.
Sparks.
They won't give
Against,
him Jason Spezza. Why would they give him?
oh, you're right. You got to give them what they want. You know, fourth line center,
I'm
backup
with you on
goalie
that,
making the same
actually.
thing. Like,
Yeah.
No, but last year there was like just a sacrificial murder on national television.
Garrett Sparks.
Garrett Sparks just getting
Lit up.
just that part in The Wizard of Oz where the monkeys tear apart the scarecrow. That's exactly what it was like.
Poor guy.
Like on national TV. What you're wasting our Saturday night. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, we don't want to feed Hutchison to the Sharks because they'll respond with what? Shitty goaltending. Neither of them stop pucks.
That would be a great.
He's gonna
game.
get a
It'd be
shutout. You-
It'd
you
be
know-
an
you know
80s
he is.
game. It'd be 9-7.
Right.
Who would be shocked?
So anyway.
I'm excited for the backlash about us complaining about the schedule.
Oh, I'm really pumped for that.
Okay. Okay, your team doesn't have 4 back-to-backs in October.
Listen, Lindholm and
Probably.
Monahan score for the Flames. It's a really good chat about the Flames and Canucks game. I really enjoyed this.
Oh, right.
No, we nailed it.
Oh, that's why?
yeah, I think that's why we said it.
Sorry,
We nailed it.
we're only talking about teams from like elite cities. Right?
I'm not sure if you saw this before the game, but Mika Zibanejad in Ottawa takes a quick selfie before the game with a fan.
Mm-hmm.
Fan's a little guy, like he reminds me of what I used to be when I was a little kid, so excited. 8 or 9 years old, gets the selfie with him, and they go back to him later because he had a puck that I believe had Zibanejad as like Ottawa and New York on the puck, I think as well.
Oh, okay.
And they go back to him, and his dad's got his arm around him, and he's in tears because he's so excited that he got his selfie with.
That's cute.
Aw.
Yeah.
So cute. And then Zibanejad goes out and scores 3 effing goals against
Doesn't he
his
have
own team.
8 points?
Yeah, it's pretty outrageous. What a great start.
8
And you-
points in 2 games.
And I have to tell you, Bushnevich, Panarin, and Zibanejad together is absolutely
They're a
terrifying.
fun team to watch.
Terrifying.
Fun team to watch. New Jersey, not quite the start that I thought. But like those, the Metro Division is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Hey, the other heartbreak last night, and this game finished right around the time the Leafs-Habs game finished. James Reimer picking up his first win with the Carolina Hurricanes off an OT winner from Jake Gardiner.
And Jake Gardner ripped down the wing, and it was like a great shot, too.
He looks okay.
No kidding.
He looks okay.
And that was against the Capitals in their home opener. Kind of spoiled that for them.
That's tough.
Yeah.
It must be hard.
Without Kuznetsov, I believe. I want to say that was their final game without him.
I enjoyed watching Sidney Crosby fight again.
Yeah.
Because of the run that, what was it? Oh, God. Why is my brain farting?
Your brain's farting in the same way that Jim Rutherford probably shit himself. Because didn't he get Eric Goodbranson for that very reason?
Yes. Yes,
so
he
that
did.
that would never happen again.
Pierre-Luc Dubois.
Pierre-Luc Dubois. Yeah, so it's like a slap fight a little bit. But
Can you go to hockeyfights.com and look up Sidney Crosby's fight card?
It's 7. I know that.
I know it's 7, but
Yeah.
the guys he fights, it's always that one?
Yeah. Well,
Every time you're like, that one?
And at the end of it, it turned out to be just a wrestling match. But you could tell how strong Sidney Crosby is, especially in his legs.
Oh,
because
my God.
he wrestled Pierre-Luc Dubois to the ice.
Much
but
bigger Dubois, too, I think.
He did it with, his legs were planted. And it wasn't until, the very last moment that he also went over, too. If you go back and you watch just the body positioning, it's literally his two legs are like two stilts in the ground, not moving. His whole upper body has moved Pierre-Luc Dubois, and then he falls down. And you go, okay, I can understand a little bit why because he's not huge.
You can't knock him off
But you
the puck.
cannot knock that guy off the puck. And
Yeah.
he just pulled the guy down. That was it. I thought that was amazing to watch, especially for a guy who has had the injuries he's had and has played the amount of hockey he's had. He's crazy.
And dealt with the amount of shit that he's had.
Oh, yeah.
I know people say he whines, but man, he's
Sometimes
taking some lumps.
He's not wrong in whining a lot of the time.
No.
Yeah.
Jesse,
Do you
we
want to
got-
run through the fights?
Yes, please.
So we'll start his first fight, Andrew Ference,
Oh,
2007.
Right.
And Bruin, Andrew Ference at that point.
I believe so. Or was he Flame?
Oh, he was a flame.
No, let's see. He was a Bruin,
Bruin.
Boston Bruin. Brett McLean was
Sure.
the Florida Panthers at the time.
What?
2009, that was a fight.
Every time he fights, you're like, him?
Keith Ballard, Florida Panthers, again.
I can't even remember that.
Matt Zidlicki, same season. He had 3 fights. Merrick Zidlicki, sorry.
I was about to say, what?
Merrick Zidlicki.
He used to be so good in the NHL games.
Matt
Little
Niskanen.
right-winger. Or right
Matt Niskanen.
D. We.
Matt
Matt
Niskanen.
Niskanen.
Yeah, Dallas.
When he was on the Stars. I
Yeah.
wanna
Oh,
say.
before they were
2010.
teammates. Okay.
Yeah.
Claude Giroux,
Yep.
2012.
Probably playoffs.
Brandon Dubinsky,
That makes sense.
2015. And then Pierre-Luc Dubois.
So I would say his last 3, I would be, oh yeah, okay, those make sense.
Dubois, Dubinsky, Giroux. The last 3. Yeah.
He's not afraid.
Not bad. Niskanen, too.
I
Tough guy.
mean, you shouldn't ought to be fighting with, his injury history, but no, good on him for at least
All right, stand up for himself.
being willing. Standing up
Captain.
for himself.
And I'm confused by something because I didn't actually see the game fully last night.
Someone's going to go next Penguins game,
Yeah.
and it
What do
won't
you
be
mean?
him. Well, someone's going to fight, and it won't be Crosby.
Oh, yeah, I think so. I think the message would have to be
Yeah,
sent.
someone got screamed at. I'm positive of that.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
He's not the guy that should be fighting.
No.
But also, he did start the fight, so I can't really... I can't get that mad. So, funny enough, I'm chirping the Pens again about Goodbranson and Johnson because they're actually playing them together, which is, to me, the entire reason you watch. If you're not a Penguins fan and you're like, my team's on, but the Penguins are playing Goodbranson and Johnson, I would turn off a Leafs game just to see that
the pairing that Corsi forgot.
Oh, yeah, it's just so great. And what I was saying last night on Twitter, because I was just salt in the wound, was because I was so high and mighty on my horse, rode into town. I was like, look at this shit. And
Horse's
I said,
name, Elite.
What's hilarious is that after 2 straight Stanley Cups and then a second-round exit, 18 months ago, neither of these players was a Penguin. And for some reason, they figured that both of these guys were going to be able to address whatever weaknesses they thought they had.
Well, and it wasn't...
How is that?
Prior to them, it was Ryan Reeves. That's what started it all.
Right.
That's what... But he
Right.
was a Penguin for a hot minute.
And then they lost him to Vegas, or they traded him to Vegas?
They traded him to Vegas. Remember there was that Brassard deal that
Right.
it was shenanigans, so they canceled it, and then they had to, rework it or something like that.
It was weird.
They won back-to-back cups, and I know they had to do something, but they fucked with that roster so immeasurably. It's unbelievable. It's unrecognizable. Other than I guess, the biggest parts, which
So
is
then
good.
a minute 45 in, Jack Johnson scores.
Nah.
And I got a bunch of heat
Yeah.
from
Oh,
Pens
yeah.
fans, and I'm like, fair. But they did take the goal back. The goal
gave
ended
it to
up going to
someone else?
Patrick Hornquist.
Yeah.
But Jack
They,
Johnson got an
Penguins
assist.
fans blow up our mentions.
But they're fun about it. Like,
I know.
they're not happy about that pairing either. That's the fun part about Pens fans.
Every time Teddy Bluger does anything, even if there's a Leaf game on, it just writes off my mentions.
Can I ask you a question?
I can try answer it.
Was the Teddy Blucher thing a thing that happened on our show?
No,
No,
that
no.
was in a that was in an LFR. I think he
Yeah.
scored against the Leafs,
Okay.
and I just freaked out about it because Teddy Bluger is just it's such a great name
It
to
is.
say. So I screamed Teddy Bluger over and over again, and he sounds like Teddy Bluger sounds like an all-American football player.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Yeah.
he?
Oh, yeah.
And I looked it up, and I go, Freddie Bluger from Riga, Latvia, like we all thought. And
Is that where he's from?
he's from Riga, Latvia,
would've
and his
thought he
real
was-
name
He's
is
not a
Pennsylvania.
defensive lineman out of Auburn?
I know. Teddy Bluger, Auburn University.
Like, that's not his thing. All right.
He's standing next to that John Cena SNL thing where he did a science fair project on bananas.
I have no idea.
You've
what
never
show
seen
this
that?
is.
It's a good
the
one.
deep reference for today's
That
episode.
one's deep. I watched that video before coming here today. That's why.
don't know.
Yeah,
There
what
you
did Steve
go.
watch most recently? Find out on every Steve Dangle podcast. No, and his real name's Fyodor Splugers.
Oh, that's his real name.
Yeah, and he just changed it to Teddy Bluger because stupid North Americans, you're never going to get it right. I'm Teddy Bluger.
He must
That's
have
a
watched,
cool backstory.
He must have watched a lot of Don Cherry because that's a Don Cherry ass name right there.
Teddy
Mother-
Bluger. Ah, it's Teddy Bluger.
Bluger.
Teddy Peckman and Teddy Bluger, my two favorite Bruins or whoever. Black and yellow team.
Oh man, so good, so good. Okay, so a few other notes from around the NHL. Winnipeg's defense.
Is an actual forest fire.
It's like worse than I would have thought. Like, and again, we knew it wasn't going to be great because we're used to being it like Myers, Trouba, Byfuglien, whoever else you want.
Josh Morrissey signed a wonderful deal.
Yeah, sure. But like, it's Josh Morrissey and these guys now.
Yeah. It's not fun. And I mean, I have a hard time criticizing the Jets too much because you don't count on your number one defenseman just sort of walking away. Like, that's a mystery. And I wonder what Frege knows because he's always talking about it. He makes it sound like he might not play again.
Yes.
Like Dustin Byfuglien's career just
So
Done.
What he said last night on Headlines was he's going to take some real time off. This will not end quickly.
it must be serious because he's walking away from
$14 more million.
money.
Yeah,
That's a lot of money,
But
man.
according to Elliot Friedman, he's made $50 million already. So he's looking at it going, he's not the evidently Byfuglien in his personal life, and I don't know anything personally about Dustin Byfuglien other than the fact that apparently he's just like he likes to go fishing and hang out with his family. Like he's very, very quiet. He's not living large. All that money's probably in a bank account somewhere. He probably drives a Dodge Stratus.
I'm a man. I drive a Dodge Stratus.
Yeah, that is like that's a prestige vehicle.
Right, you're right.
I learned that.
I don't know if there are any Dodge Stratuses left on the road. Anybody drive a Dodge Stratus?
Did
I'm sure
anyone buy Adam Subaru Baja?
Yeah, I mean, that's in Calgary somewhere.
His banana boat?
But I was thinking about Dustin Byfuglien, and we'll get back to the Jets defense in a second. If you're Dustin Byfuglien, and you might lose a year here if you don't come back. Well, you will. What if he just takes the year off?
and comes back?
Yeah, like doesn't retire. He's not. I don't know if he's getting paid. I don't know how that works. If he doesn't report, probably not.
I don't think so.
But it would be very interesting if he just sort of maybe he needs to heal. Like he had a rough year. I think he played 30 games last year.
Odd question.
Concussion, ankle, like not
The
easy.
concussion was bad. Odd question. So he had 2 years left on his deal. If he just sits this year, does that cancel a year or does it
No, I think he would still have to.
continue?
I think this year would be gone.
It's like it's not like a slide.
I don't think so.
No.
And then I think that after this year, next year he would still be obviously a Winnipeg Jet.
Okay. So he'd have the 1 year left.
It'd be like Marshawn Lynch in the NFL when he played for the the Seattle Seahawks, and then he retired for that year, and then he came back with the Raiders.
Yes.
Because he just didn't want to play football for that year.
And
he saved his body.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm amazed that doesn't happen more often.
Yeah.
It might. And it was interesting because Alexei Yashin sat out a year because he told the Senators, I want to make more money. And they said, well, you're under contract for 2 more years. And he said, no, I want to make more money.
Yeah, but I'm Russian, so have fun with that.
So he sat for a year, went to, I guess, the Super League at the time. I don't think it would have been called the KHL.
Yeah, Russian league.
And then that contract slid. So he came back and played a year for the Senators, and then they traded him to the Islanders.
And all the fans welcomed him back with open arms.
Sure did. He made him play the whole year in Ottawa. Crazy.
How do you make a guy play out of spite?
I know.
Come on,
They
man.
managed it. He played well. Dustin Byfuglien, I respect what he's doing, but if you're the Jets, what do you do? Because the thing is, you can't go and make a deal now because you're up against the cap if Byfuglien's there.
You need an answer, is what you need.
So how long do you let Dustin Byfuglien's decision hold up yours?
Boy, if they were doing well, that buys you some time. But like, how have they done in the first few games? I know they've gotten just lit up in terms of defense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they've won despite
The
that.
Winnipeg Jets are currently 1-1.
1-1.
They've had
So it's a little
9
early.
goals for, 10 goals against.
Okay.
So you're averaging 5 goals against a game. It's not very good.
Not ideal.
You're not going to win a lot doing that. Even
No.
if you are the Jets with their high-powered offense.
All right, they beat the Devils 5-4. So,
Oh, that was the game where they came back from a 4-0 deficit.
Yeah.
The second time the Jets have done that within the last 3 or 4 years. 4 years.
But if you
Crazy.
know,
Crazy.
if you know, and the agent was because I guess the rumor earlier this week that the Byfuglien definitely wasn't coming back, but the agent called Elliot Friedman and said, whoa, wait a second, he's going to take his time with this. At what point, if you're the Jets, do you say like what's the date? Is it 2 weeks? Is it 3 weeks?
And then at that day, what happens? What do you think?
I think you have to make. Well, they're probably going to have to move a first round pick to get a defenseman of consequence, right? If you're looking for a big right-handed defenseman.
Yeah, but if you need one that badly, you're probably not in a position to get rid of a first-round pick.
Yeah.
You need guys.
Like maybe it's possible you can make a bunch of depth moves and tinker. But if I'm Winnipeg and Byfuglien's not going to be here, forget about next season. I'm looking for a long-term guy. So you look for the first Jacob Trouba you can find. And I mean Jacob Trouba in the situation that he's not happy where he is. He
Right.
wants to be somewhere else. You try to make a deal with that team.
This year with the draft being what it is, I think if a team is sinking, they're not going to go out of their way to look for solutions.
No, I don't
And
think so.
they don't want to trade a first-round pick this year. If they stink, they might be like, well, I didn't mean to have it this way, but
Is it
best draft in a few years, so...
Yeah.
It's Eichel McDavid again. Or you just-
the tank this year might be
You tank and you just
bad.
tank, yeah.
Yeah, Detroit, Ottawa. I don't think the Kings are going to do a
I
single
don't think Edmonton's
thing.
making a real effort besides the players. I don't think Edmonton and
Oh, the
that's-
players are trying.
Oh, 100%. I don't think Edmonton management's making a big stink about trying to improve that team. And in fact, we did find out this week that Ken Holland sat down with Connor McDavid. And forgive me if I said this in the last episode.
I think
You did, yeah.
I did?
We talked about
Okay,
that.
so
yeah.
if you
If
missed it-
McDavid is willing to play ball, great.
Because they're basically saying, listen, we're not going to be great this season,
Right.
but we got a bunch of cap space this offseason we can do some stuff with.
It's going to be a
Pre-
2-year build.
Yeah, prevents you from doing anything stupid. You probably get a really good player in
Mm-hmm.
the process, maybe even the first overall pick, maybe even yet another generational
Can you
talent.
imagine? Oh, my God.
If McDavid is on board, then he might be the best captain in the league
Mm-hmm.
that he's willing to do that.
And yet not winner of a Mark Messier award yet.
No.
He was the best captain in the league last year, too.
What
not
is-
winner of
who's
the Mark Messier award.
the youngest winner of the Messier award?
I don't know. It's not an old award.
When in
it
sports,
can't be. You got to be over 30.
when in sports do we split up the MVP award?
Man,
When do we
should've.
when do we have
It already sort of is.
when do we have this is the best player by stats? Like, hey, this guy is the best guy at all the guys in the league. And then the other one, which is kind of what the MVP has been, which is the guy whose team is actually good and he's the best player on the best team. And he's had this individual performance that's helped his team better. Like to make it what it is today.
The Boned Without Me award.
Right.
And we give that to Taylor Hall. And the best player award we give to Connor McDavid.
Right.
That would have solved so many issues a few years ago.
Should it not be 2 awards there?
I don't know. It already sort of is. Like with the Hart and the Pearson. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like the player. I want to say
But people
Hall,
don't value the Pearson like the Hart.
No, they don't.
but that's people's problem.
It's true.
You know what I mean? Like the players are telling you, listen, I think this guy's the best.
That was the year McDavid won the Pearson.
I think
and
he
then
did.
I forget who won the Hart that year. Was that the same
That
Hall
was the
year?
Hall year.
That was the Hall
Also,
year.
I think that the players' opinion matters more. I agree with you. Like it shouldn't be the way it is. Also, the Lester B. Pearson Award is the only award named after a prime minister from Canada.
What's
No,
the
it's named
Ted
after-
Lindsay
Oh,
now?
that's Ted Lindsay.
It's named after the airport.
Ah,
Yeah,
yes,
not the
Pearson
guy.
Airport.
It's just the airport.
Best
it celebrates the
airport
airport.
in his city of
Yeah.
history.
That's why the
if you've
Billy
ever flied to
Bishop
Toronto, I'm so sorry.
the Billy Bishop Porter Airlines Award of Excellence
Yes.
will go to Connor McDavid.
That'll be the actual MVP award.
Yeah.
McDavid, come get your award.
Free steam whistle
There's
with this
a-
trophy.
There is a very bougie airport in Toronto called
Is
Billy
there?
Bishop. It is my favorite. It's the best. Free
It's
cookies.
very
awesome.
elite.
Free cookies.
Elitist.
Okay, here are the winners of the Mark Messier Award since 07-08. Well, actually, 06-07 was technically the first year. Chelios, Red Wings.
Probably
And
ancient.
what's the description of this trophy?
It is an award that
Win the
recognizes
cup 6 times.
award that recognizes an individual as a superior leader within their sport and a contributing member of society. It can't just be a great leader; has to be a contributing member of society too. I don't know.
So you got to do like
I don't
volunteers
know.
work?
I don't really know if there's any proof of that. I think it's more the first than the second, to be honest with you. Because anyway.
I don't know.
The award is given by a player selected by Hall of Fame center Mark Messier.
Oh, it's his award. He selects it?
Wait.
Sorry, I didn't know this.
Wow.
Wait.
We're breaking news here.
Where are you reading this?
Wikipedia.
Okay.
The award.
That would be really funny if it was fake.
The award is given to a player. Can we check this? Can we cross-reference this with
I'll
NHL.com?
look up on NHL.com.
I'm gonna read
That's a
again.
great fake if it's fake.
The award is given to a player by Hockey Hall of Fame center Mark Messier. Given to a player doesn't mean selected. The award is given to a player selected by Hockey Hall of Fame center Mark Messier. Yes, it does. To honor an individual who leads by a positive example through on-ice performance, motivation of team members, and a dedication to community activities and charitable causes.
Is there a reference you can click on there?
There is not. So that might.
It's like owner of the Habs or owner of the Leafs,
here you
Matt
go.
Domi.
Here you go. From NHL.com. So, the Mark Messier Award. The Mark Messier NHL Leadership Award has been around since 06-07. It is given to the player who exemplifies great leadership qualities to his team on and off the ice during the regular season. Suggestions for nominees are solicited from fans, clubs, and NHL personnel. But the selection of the 3 finalists and the ultimate winner is made by Messier, a member of the Hockey Hall of Fame and one of the finest leaders in NHL history.
Wow.
The 6-time Stanley Cup champion is one of 3 players to have been given captain of 3 teams, and is the only player in NHL history to be captain of 2 teams that won the Stanley Cup. No player has won the award more than once.
Okay, so
Cheering for this league is
So
that
agony.
is really
It's
bizarre.
that's crazy.
It's nothing but pain.
They gave a guy an award and said,
embarrassment.
"Hey, just go pick a guy."
Holy.
Yeah,
What
Gretzky
the
doesn't have one. Weird. Okay, so here's what I got.
Yeah, well, they won one without him, so.
So Chelios got it the first year in 06-07. Sundin with the Leafs got it in 07-08.
You're damn right. Never mind. This is a great award.
Jerome McGinley
There you go.
the next year, 08-09, I believe. Is that the? No, that wasn't. That
Oh,
was
08-09?
I don't know.
No.
Sidney Crosby, I believe, in 09-10 when they won the Cup. Did they win the Cup that year, or was that the year
No, that was
before?
the year after.
The year after, okay. Zdeno Chara when Boston won the Cup. Mm-hmm. Shane Doan with the Coyotes when I think they went to the conference finals.
final. Oh, my God. Is this just the player version of the Coach of the Year?
Yeah, it's the whoa.
Whoa, you
surprised us,
because the Leafs
Trophy.
did not make the playoffs that year.
Yeah, you did better than we thought, except, sorry, Mats.
Daniel Alfredson, 2012-2013 with Senators. Was that his last year? Dustin Brown with the Kings in 2013-2014,
They won.
and he was the captain. Tays and the Blackhawks, 2014-15.
They won.
Weber Predators, 15-16.
Was that their cup run year?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, was it?
Yes, it was. That was
16?
Was
Yeah.
it 16-17?
What year did we go to Nashville?
Oh, you're right. Sorry, I'm thinking
It
of
was
San
16,
Jose.
17.
My
It's already
bad.
been
It was
2
the year
years.
before.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
Yeah. That year was Nick Foligno, 16-17 of the Blue Jackets.
All right.
Followed even more strangely by Derek Engelland of the Vegas Golden Knights.
Because
But they went to
They
the
went
Stanley
to
Cup
the
Finals.
they went to the Stanley Cup final. Way better than anyone expected. The first non-captain to win a captain's award. He wasn't the captain.
And Wayne Simmons of the Flyers and Predators won it last year.
I guess it's not a captain's award. It's just the leadership award. Because, yeah.
What?
The guy who changed teams won it. If you want to check, it says Wayne Simmons there.
What? I like Wayne Simmons a lot.
Wayne Simmons.
Scarborough represents, but
He maybe had great leadership last year. We don't know.
I'm laughing at Steve's reaction to this because
What?
Just
There's a video too on the
this is
NHL's
what happens
website.
when you let some guy, I don't care who he is, pick one award.
I don't know if anybody's ever seen Cloudy with a Chance at Meatballs, but Steve looks like the dad in it with just the eyebrows and there was no eye.
Now I know he does a lot in the community.
He does!
And he's wearing, I think that's the Ed Snyder Foundation jersey in
Yeah,
the video.
yeah.
So they do like a montage.
This is a montage.
Wayne Simmons at a montage.
That's him winning the award.
Montage.
Sorry, just the way you looked at me was very funny.
Well, he wasn't a captain and he played on 2 teams. Now Messier is just going off the board.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, I picked a guy who wasn't even a captain. Next year, the guy wasn't even on the same team the whole time.
Nowhere does it say that it's a captain's award.
It doesn't.
It's a leadership award.
Okay, but like,
But
it probably should be.
the guy who's on 2 teams, I don't know how you can lead a team if you're just on it for 2 months. I don't know.
Like, isn't there already an award for, like,
The Masterston.
what you do in the community? No.
Isn't that? No. That's
Isn't it the
like-
King Clancy?
I'll look it up. 1 second.
I thought that's what that
Mastered
was.
is
Like,
perseverance.
yeah, Masterson,
Right.
yes, which he could have also won. He had some gruesome injuries last year. But Clancy, I want to say, is like what you do in the community. I want to say Cujo won it once. I'm not sure.
When he was robbed of a Vesna, he should have won that one year.
He was
It was a
in.
joke that he didn't win.
Freddie Anderson is in danger of
Cujo territory. with
well,
Vesna.
just always being in the conversation but never actually winning it.
never even being nominated in the top 3. Like Freddie's not.
Yeah, it's true. He needs
Like what the hell does he have to do?
He's got to beat. He's got to beat all but 2 guys at least.
The King Clancy Award, awarded to the player or players who best exemplify leadership qualities on and off the ice and have made noteworthy humanitarian contributions in their community. Blah, 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 blah.
So basically, the Mark Messier Leadership Award is the King Clancy Award. Only only Mark Messier is alive to select someone.
Okay, our next award is the King Clancy, followed by King Clancy, except a name of a person you recognize.
That's the
It's
exact
literally
same award.
the exact same award, except one guy gets to do it.
This award is the King Clancy. Okay, our next award is King Clancy but bald.
Hey, I don't see King Clancy on any stamps. Am I
That's right.
Where's his Cookie Stanley Cup he's holding above his head?
exactly.
Yeah, yes, you this trophy you don't hold above your head. King Clancy, you go, thanks guys. Thanks guys, and you hold it up. This league sucks.
What the hell? Why did they do this?
Why did he give it to a guy who played on 2 teams? You should have got the Clancy. Who got the Clancy?
Jason Zucker.
For
Because
almost
of what?
being traded? Why did Jason
No.
Zucker get it?
No,
He
it's
began
like-
a fundraising campaign for the Zucker Family Suite and Broadcast
Oh,
Studio at
alright.
the University of Minnesota.
Great.
Fair.
They started the project with a $160K donation, and then they raised over $1.2 million in less than 12 months. It was great for the community.
That's amazing. Did not know that.
That's $100,000 a month.
So I guess this is like more outside of hockey, and then the other one is in hockey
I
leadership.
I have a question. Question.
Good question.
Would it be possible to keep both awards?
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with recognizing more
Have
community
both,
stuff.
No, sure. But have one be the community award and one be the leadership award.
I thought they had that handled.
Like, is there not a leadership on ice award and then a leadership in the community award? Why can't there just be separation of church and state?
What if you just got rid of the Messier award?
But
It's
it's
odd
silly.
that Mark Messier is picking that. Like, did they go to him and say, Mark, we'd like to name an award after you, only if you let me pick it? Or did they go to him and say, no, you know what, we're going to let you pick it? Because that...
also, am I safe in assuming that he does none of the picking? Because it says
No, he picks.
I had thought that.
because it
I think
says
he
with input from fans and NHL personnel. Somebody
Does
just
anyone vote on that?
does somebody
anyone
just
even
hand
know
him a
that?
list and be like, "Hey, Messier, this is the guy who's going to win this
Yeah,
year," and he's like, "Nah, I did it." You know?
Probably. I don't know of any fans. Are you a fan right now? Leave a comment. Who has actually voted on the Mark Messier Leadership Award? And if you are, do you know how? Is my camera?
It's on your camera. Yeah.
Tell me, how do I vote for the Mark Messier Leadership Award?
We gotta
I want
write-
you to tell me how to vote for the Mark Messier Leadership Award because I really don't know what web portal I need to go to. And I'm sure there's got to be at least one person who's done it. Otherwise, it doesn't exist. Because if I can't find it with STP listeners, it literally does not exist.
Everybody, we are writing in Jason Spezza this year. Oh, Jason Spezza is winning the Mark Messier
Yes.
Award for kids who can't read good or whatever it is. Whatever the hell.
Yo, Spezza from S. Messa.
Spezier. Spezza but balls. I don't know.
I
We'll
don't
figure it out.
know.
We'll figure it out. What'll be a nice hashtag? We'll figure something out.
That's just a little weird.
Yeah.
You have two awards that are the
Okay.
same thing in
What
one.
other? Is there another league? And here's another one for STP listeners. Okay. Is there another league that allows a Hall of Famer, player with 6 championships like Messier, do not take a thing away from his career, second best player probably all time. Yes, I'm including Gordie Howe in that. Messier probably better. There, I said it.
Sure.
Howe just played longer.
Sure.
I want to ask you, and there's going to be so many Detroit fans who hate me for that.
Yeah, that's a tough take.
I don't care. That's a good take. No, you know what? Third best, Bobby Orr. Second best.
Okay.
Fourth best, Mary Lemieux.
Okay. Adam.
Fourth best player all time. My
What is
point in
happening?
this that I'm trying to make here is there any other league that allows a player who's at least the fourth best player of all time, maybe top 10, select an award essentially on their own, maybe with some fan input? Is there another? I can't think of one in baseball. I don't know if there's many awards in baseball. Do they have a big award?
Yeah, they got tons of awards. Yeah.
But they don't do like a ceremony, right? They got the gold gloves and they got all that.
What's
Yeah.
the Gold Glove based on? I've never known
It's
that.
Yeah,
your
the Cy
Gold
Young.
Gloves is your defensive play.
Yeah, but they're just like, yeah, you caught balls.
No,
What's your percentage,
it's,
right?
It's like a guy who doesn't have a lot of errors.
They
good
actually base that
fielding.
on stats, though, don't they? Like you win it, you have to win it by winning it.
No. That's not a stats award.
Oh, it's
That's
not?
a voted on guys award.
Steve Dangle
Yeah.
podcast.
They have a couple that are just like batting average champion. That's
Home
a,
run
like,
champion.
Yeah, home
Yeah.
run, most home runs in the season, that sort of thing.
Right. Okay.
But yeah,
the
Gold
guys on
Glove's
the
not
show
one of
ask the most questions.
Yeah.
them. The NBA awards, fun fact, they don't have like they'll be branded, so it'll be like the Kia NBA Most Valuable Player.
Oh yeah.
The
Mark Messier
Kia
Award.
player, 6th man of the year. You know?
The Mark Messier Award has a
Oh, does
sponsor.
it?
Yeah. Cold FX.
You're kidding.
It's sponsored by Cold FX.
Still?
It
Are
was.
you serious?
It was. It was first awarded during the 06-07 season and is sponsored by Cold FX. So it may not be anymore, but it was at one point. The Cold
very
FX
funny.
Mark Messier Leadership Award for leading good.
Voted by Mark
By
Messier.
Messier.
For kids who can't read well.
Mark
pets.
Messier can read fine. Anyway,
Yeah, reads his name six
So I would
times
like
on the
to-
Stanley Cup.
So
Adam.
that's something I would like to know. I would really like to know if there's any other league that allows a single player to have that much input on one award. And if there isn't, there needs to be an expose about how the hell this happened and how nobody's talked about it. Anyway, Patrick Marleau's camp is confident he'll return to the NHL this year. This came out of headlines last night, and it's interesting. Patrick Marleau could have been a Carolina Hurricane and could have made $6 million doing it, but it's not really $6 million. He made most of his money with the Leafs and the signing bonuses and all that.
Yada yada,
He
etc.
wants to be on the West Coast, was focused on San Jose, and they told him in July they're going a different direction. I know that the other name that was always thrown out there was the Arizona Coyotes.
And also the LA Kings. There was a
Oh,
little
that's
bit.
interesting.
Yeah.
So if you're Patrick Marleau, or if you're...
He's going to have to take league min no matter where he goes.
For sure. What I'm asking is
Or
not
something.
necessarily if he would take Leakman because he would have to, especially because teams are now up against the cap.
Or a million max.
Yeah. My question is this story agents being agents?
What do you mean?
Well, it says like Marleau's camp's confident he'll return to the NHL this year. It just struck me as, oh, that's the agents making a call and going, hey, still here.
Yeah, it could be.
Still available. Because headlines, believe it or not, you'd be surprised by this, a lot of GMs watch it.
A lot of GMs watch
Because
it.
it matters
and
what
also,
those guys have to say.
Also, it's the Toronto game,
Right.
right? So it's relevant news to
Leaf fans.
the, Toronto-Montreal game, but that was the bit of...
If he played for the Canadians, it would have been a relevant Montreal story,
Yes.
right? Yeah, fair enough.
So it was relevant news, the audience is tapped in, and it's actual news.
Right. So this is... My question is that an agent going, banging the drum a little bit and going, hey, he's still here?
Probably. Or maybe he's hearing from GMs that they're interested and they're kicking tires. And hey, yeah, no, we
But
would
why
love
would-
to sign a guy like Patrick Marleau, but
Why-
he won't.
Why would they say that if the GMs were interested? If GMs are interested, do they have to say, hey, look at us? And I'm not saying Patrick Marleau is
No, I
ever the
think-
guy to do that. If GMs are interested in Patrick Marleau, then they don't need to say that.
Yeah. Hey, you want to play in the NHL this year? Yes. Okay, cool. Well, we're the Dallas Stars and we want you to play with us.
Right.
Not what I had in mind. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder if that's the case.
Interesting.
And I picked Dallas out of a hat.
I still think
There's
he'd be a
nothing against
valuable
him.
guy to have. I just think you have to play him in a role that's suited to where he's at.
It's got to be on the fourth line.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was the Nashville Predators player who just sat out the first 6 months of the year?
Mike Fisher.
Mike Fisher. What if Patrick Marleau's just like, hey, I'm going to do like Mike Fisher and sit out
know.
till January, and I'm going to have fresh legs?
And
See,
return to the Leafs.
If the Jets
Probably
were
not the Leafs.
Probably not.
if the Jets were not completely fucked by what's happening with the Dustin Byfuglien stuff, and then again, not screwed up by Dustin Byfuglien, but the situation, they were planning on him being there.
It's just terrible. It's
There's
just
no way.
really
There's no way
unfortunate.
around it. There's no way around it. The situation is not great for the Jets. If they weren't completely held up by that, if their defense was okay, passable, still going to be well in the playoff picture, which it still might be, they could say, you know what? Why don't you wait a few months, and then be fresh in January? So we got big, buff, clean, and healthy and happy, and no injuries, no nagging injuries by the playoffs. That's a great strategy.
What
for
if you're short, short on draft picks, and cap room, and et cetera, and you just want Patrick Marleau for free? You could maybe do that.
them?
Yeah. You just cut a side deal. You say, hey, we'll sign you in February. Sit at home, stay fit.
Skate with us.
And, skate with us.
Nothing
and
against it.
We'll sign you.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's nothing against the rules about skating with the team.
All right.
Totally. And the deeper you get into the season, the more chances you would have to sign because your cap opens up a little bit the way the math works. It's
Yeah.
odd. It's weird. But
Yeah.
it's like there's like a
And you sign for like league min, your cap impact, I don't know, like
It'll be
300
nothing.
grand or
Yeah.
something,
Yeah.
like if
it's-
that.
Oh, yeah, because it's a percentage of the year.
Yeah, it's,
right?
it's like 200 grand.
All right.
Something like
prorated,
that.
I think they call it.
Prorated. There
Prorated.
you go.
That's weird guys who speak good.
Yeah, well. So anyway, I just wondered about the Patrick Marleau thing. I was like, is that a Patrick Marleau's camp's going, hey, we're still here.
All right.
You're looking for depth.
Could be.
Or do they, because I just don't see as an agent why you would allow that story to go out if you're close to signing with someone.
Well, it's also like transaction stuff.
Sure.
Like it's sort of gone away. There's the big summer stuff. Then you get into, this team maybe needs to make a small trade. Then you get into all the heavy waiver wire stuff. And it's all sort of dried up. So, okay, what's left? What's going on? Hey, Patrick Marleau doesn't have a team.
Ah, fair enough.
And me, the viewer, I remember Patrick Marleau. Why isn't he on the team anymore?
Hall of Famer.
Or where's he going? What's he doing?
Yeah, should be Hall of Famer.
Where do you even get traded to?
Josh Hosang demanded a trade. Finally, I think that's like a couple seasons too late for him.
Yeah.
He demanded a trade, and the Isles did tell him not to report to Bridgeport for a few days as they tried to figure one out. They couldn't figure one out.
You demand a trade from Lou Lamoriello, he will find you one.
Yes. Well,
We know that from Toronto.
And Bridgeport, he will now report to Bridgeport, where he played last year. And from what I understand, not great. Like it wasn't that he couldn't play well, but there was some real bumps at the beginning of the season. He ended up with 43 points, but only 8 goals. And I think the knock against him for a long time has been the guy just will not shoot. He's got a great shot, but just will not shoot.
The Islanders had a really good record with him. But that's, that could be the product of so many things. Hey, you had a Vezina nominee goalie. Could be that.
Yep.
No, he.
Is he actually good, or is he just a guy that had great pre-draft scouting and looked good and is not?
He's got crazy skill. Crazy skill. I think what's been holding him back is a lot of people don't really like him. And I remember, I want to say it was like the World Junior team that he was snubbed from. Like, he wasn't even invited to camp, which, given his skill set, was outrageous. Like, he went later in the first round than he should have. Sort of like Ryan Merkley, a little bit.
I was going to bring him up. And you know who you haven't heard a single effing thing from?
Ryan Merkley?
Ryan Merkley. Except he was traded, I think, in the O.
To the London Knights.
Because they're gearing up again.
It's probably it's just the scouting and their rink rats.
They're amazing
There
scouts.
are no other factors.
There couldn't be.
They're just really smart.
Right.
Couldn't be another factor. Don't you dare imply that there's another factor.
There isn't.
How could you?
I don't know how you could.
I
Knowing
don't-
the facts
Me
that are
neither.
out there, which are that they're great scouting.
Yes.
Anyway, Josh Ho saying,
So sorry. So he got snubbed from the Team Canada camp. And I was one of many people who were like, that's outrageous. What the hell? He's got all the skill. What's going on here? And then someone very knowledgeable slid into my DMs and went, this ain't the guy.
Huh.
Like this.
now
this
he
ain't-
was 16 at the time.
No, he was like 19, 20. This was after he was drafted.
Okay.
So, and people change.
People change.
People
He's like 24
mature.
now.
Stuff like that.
But problems see to follow him around.
Yeah, and well, hockey's so boring in a lot of ways because, like, when he said, "Well, the Islanders had a really good record with me in the lineup,"
He was right.
it's a great line. It's confidence. There's no lie in it, but I don't think him and Lou Lamoriello are a very good fit. So maybe he'll get traded and be awesome.
I
I don't know.
If he's a guy.
A lot of Robbie Schremp.
Yeah.
There. You know what I
Robbie
mean?
Schremp, and I don't.
He was a high pick, I think.
I hesitate to put anybody in this category because you just don't know. Unless you've heard a story directly from, like, somebody. I don't know that he's a problem. I
Right.
hear that it's a problem. I've been hearing that it's a problem.
Never
I don't
met
know
him.
what it is. I've
Never
never met
spoken
him.
to him.
I don't know anything
know
about him
anything.
personally. But I wonder with Josh Ho saying, is this a guy where you go, what are you still doing here? Why don't you go to the KHL for a couple years, light it up, not make a noise, and then have somebody come back and go, okay, we really need you now. Because
think the
Radulov was big talent.
Radulov's Russian.
I think it's a better life for him if he's playing in the AHL here in North America as a North
Yeah.
American
He could make
kid.
a lot more money in the KHL.
I think he's the sort of guy I think who would go to the KHL and not come back. It's rare to do what Nick Shore did. Nick Shore went to the KHL like for a snack. Nick Shore had just one. There's another Mark Messier reference for you. He had just one. It's rare that happens. That they don't get lured into staying,
Because of
in
the
Europe
big
for
money
a
you can
while.
Right.
Yep. It's rare that they're able to make an NHL team. An NHL team goes, "Oh yes, you're good enough."
And people forget about you when you go over there. It's
Notice that
easier
other
to
way.
notice a guy if he's on the same continent as
When
you.
was the last time you heard anything about Nail Yakupov? That guy's gone. Like, and I'm pretty sure he's been fine, but he's gone.
Who was the guy that
He's not
Vegas,
coming back.
Who was that
No.
guy that Vegas had for like 3 games and then he went back?
Oh, the defenseman.
Vadim Shipachyov.
Yeah.
No, he's a center.
No. Nick Robertson.
Defenseman.
Nick,
That's-
Nikita Robertson.
who's been
Gusev.
bananas good.
Oh, yeah?
He's
he's been good.
We'll get to him
He's
later
on a
because
line.
they're playing today, so I need to
Oh,
look at
nice.
the stats.
But you have to hate those guys, right? Even though they're
The Peterborough Petes.
yeah, because you're a Jens fan.
I can't imagine the Gens are too happy with me being friendly with the Peterborough
You
Petes.
don't have any ties to the team
I have
except
lots
you
of
live in the
ties.
same city.
What a strange arena, by the way. Have either of you
I've not
ever
seen a
been
Pete's
to
game.
The
No.
Peterborough one?
Yeah.
No.
It's my first time ever in there. There's like barely any seating on like 3 sides of the ice. And then
Okay.
it's just really high up
We should go.
and tall. It's like
We should do a roadie.
It reminded me of like Pittodrie Stadium in Aberdeen, Scotland for soccer, where the vast
Don't know
majority
what
of the
that
seating
is.
was just on one of the 4 sides of the field.
Interesting.
Okay.
It was behind one of the nets. It was bizarre. And apparently 10 years ago or something like that, it was bench seating. Like it wasn't
Man.
seats.
They used to have the craziest thing.
They need a new arena.
watching just as a total aside, watching documents on how hooliganism developed in English football. You know why? You know why?
Adam Wilde reference here.
There's no one like Adam Wilde.
They stood. So they'd have standing bars. There was no sitting. So you think about it, you're drinking and you're standing. When you drink and you sit, you slow down. When you're drinking and you're standing and you're moving, you're up, you're up, you're up. No wonder people fought. Like, are you kidding me?
Oh, and bumping into each other and knocking. Hey, you knocked over my drink, and yeah.
Like there was they just put concrete and a bar in front of you. Lean against that bar. Drink your pint.
Just put a trough full of alcohol.
It's crazy.
All right,
crazy.
have fun.
Oh, and I bet there wasn't a whole lot of like ID checking and stuff back then.
No.
It was the 70s.
And the UK.
And the UK, which is still like the 70s.
Yeah.
In that regard. Anyway, Josh was saying such a weird one because like all the advanced stats models love the guy, and he has NHL talent. It's what is it there? What isn't there? What is there?
I'm gonna throw let's throw bets out there. So Lou Lamoriello, to his credit, when players ask for trades, he trades them. He did that with the Leafs. Peter Holland, Frank Corrado, found them teams. Where's he going?
Man, to me, it would sure look good to see him in Edmonton.
Mm-hmm. There's one.
I think that would make a lot of sense.
What do you got?
Did everybody not have the opportunity to just take them on waivers?
Yeah, Edmonton had the opportunity to take a ton of people and put a bunch of their own people on waivers. They didn't do it.
Right. So
I think it's going to be.
You think it's going to be
maybe it's a pick plus my pain in the ass. You know what I mean? Like every program's got
a pain.
One guy who, or like a project, not necessarily a pain in the ass, but like a guy who. You know what? We tried. There's something there, but we can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Or they just need a change of scenery. Montreal makes a lot of sense because they despite what you saw last night, have trouble finishing.
Charles Houdon?
Yeah, maybe.
I look at the waiver situation and I think maybe there's just not a market for him because anybody could have had him for free.
Maybe, or...
So how do they trade a guy if he was just like, here you go, 2 weeks ago? Not even 2 weeks ago. A week
He's
ago.
not the kind of guy to give guys away either. Like when he was put on waivers, every team had a bunch of guys on waivers because they couldn't accommodate them.
Yeah.
That's why they had them on
Only
waivers.
2 guys got claimed. All preseason, I'm pretty sure.
Because they couldn't, right? They couldn't take them on. So I look at it now and think maybe Lou's not a guy to give up assets. We know that from Toronto. Like he wouldn't. There were offers on Josh Levo that were so like that. I guess Lou was like, no, it's not high enough. Josh Levo.
The Leafs wanted like a second.
Yeah.
And they got Michael Carcone, who they threw into the Zaitsev deal.
Right. And I watched him play against the Marlies yesterday.
They slept on him, Mike Stevens. They slept on him.
Paul Haysom from Global News Vancouver. So if you're in Vancouver...
Sorry. My bet is the Arizona Coyotes.
Coyotes. Interesting. Paul Haysom from Global News Vancouver reached out to me. He's a diehard Canucks fan. And if you're in Vancouver, please say hi to Paul for me. He said, I'm sure a bunch of diehard Canucks fans reached out about the Luongo captaincy thing that we talked about. And if you don't know what we talked about last episode, we even put it up as a clip. And I've got nothing but Oilers and Canucks fans in my DMs right now.
Oilers fans just torched the
McDavid
video.
I think that's one of the videos
which
that
is so
had more
unlike
dislikes. but evidently, he said, so they had this picture up of these notable captains through Canucks history, right? And I was like, well, how come Roberto Luongo's not on there? He's best goalie in franchise history. Sorry, Kirk McLean. Luongo's better. And so this is what Paul from Global News Vancouver had to say. He said they are celebrating their 50th anniversary season, and they wanted to have a captain representing each decade in the picture. He said, I still think Bobby Lou should have been a part of it, but that was the reasoning. So I reached out back and I said...
There's 5 of them, and it's their 50th... Oh, I did not even think of that.
Well, but I reached back to him, and I said, okay, that makes sense. But did they say that in the original tweet for context? No. And I said, I must have missed that. It feels weird. And he's like, I don't think they did, but it's been a big part of their marketing campaign. I know they have a 70s, 80s, and 90s night throughout the year, so it would fit the narrative.
Oh, they're going to have so many different jerseys, too.
Yeah, I'm excited to see them bring back the Big V.
The Big V.
Whatever that thing was. But, I hope they bring Cooperalls back for one game.
Just once.
If you don't know what Cooperalls are, Google that. They are pants. But full-length pants that the Canucks played with for no less than a decade.
The Canucks lose 13-1 last night. 7 players left the game with dehydration.
They were literally pants.
They were pants.
Blake Coleman, not a name we bring up much, might have had the goal of the year.
Already.
Yeah.
And he's done it twice.
Yeah. That was the thing.
Done it twice.
They did a montage of one-handed goals, and he's on it.
absolutely fantastic. Just the look at the flick of the wrist, just the one-handed flick of the wrist while falling down, top corner. And I can't remember the goalie it was on. It was either, I want to say Hellebuck or Brossois. I don't remember.
I think it's Hellebuck.
You know, some people are like, "Oh yeah, bad goaltending." You are.
Yeah, that's a tough shot.
You're not expecting it.
Yeah,
you're not expecting it.
It went in. Like
He had one shot, and he's got to flick the wrist, and somehow that's going to go up over my shoulder? Yeah, I don't think so, said the goalie. And then it did. But how would you know?
Almost everybody listening right now, standing still with 10 attempts, couldn't do what he did, falling down one-handed.
100%.
Like,
Yeah.
it's with his top hand. Two, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
because it was his right hand.
Yeah, it was
on
his,
it.
Yeah.
Come on!
Yeah.
Oh, it's absolutely a hat pick, and those are coming back this week. And Kasperi Kapanen might have a dang it.
Yeah, no kidding. Nils Hoglander.
Bless you.
I know.
Nils Hoglander that's a great name.
Great name. And he is a Swedish player
What was
and a
prospect?
Canucks prospect.
Canucks prospect.
Did you see the elbow he threw this week?
I did not.
Okay.
Was it over in Europe?
Jesse,
ah,
do you want to throw this up on the... I'll send it to you via Facebook here.
all right.
You want to throw this up on the cameras because this
Sure,
one,
sure.
Unpopular opinion.
it was on. This is on Twitter, so I think we're able to get away with it.
Unpopular
Yeah,
opinion.
send
A
it
lot
and
of
we'll post it. Who
the
cares?
the open ice dirty hits that happen in Europe are way worse.
This one's bad. This is a Gordie Howe to the max. Like we talk about, oh, he's throwing Gordies. Gordie Howe
And
was
Messier.
famous. 5th best player all time, Gordie Howe. Was
just keep
famous.
pushing him down the list.
Well, no, I was pushing Mess down the list because
Oh.
of Lemieux and Orr, and I think nobody's going to disagree with me on that.
Okay, fine.
But Gordie Howe used to stop.
Adam says Mark Messier is the 20th best player to ever play in the NHL.
Anyway.
And
Gordie Howe
21st best leader.
Gordie Howe used to be so
As
Gordie
selected
Howe,
by Mark Messier.
If you saw Gordie Howe's numbers and you were going into the boards, Gordie Howe would, if he knew you were coming, he would stop and stick his elbow out, and it would meet your nose.
And
it
a
would,
giant.
yeah,
A giant among men.
and at that point, yes, he's not only taller than everybody else, but it seemed as though it was the
Jesse's.
it
proud
was
of
the
it.
thing to do. Now watch Nils Hoglander do this.
Oh! Yeah, that's not the. Elliot Friedman isolated. Yeah, that's terrible. Elliot Friedman isolated Elias Pettersson and what he's learned from last year, and the pushback. No, he comes all the way. He jumps too.
Oh yeah,
Does he leave the ice?
yeah, it was full Gordie.
Yeah, that's terrible. That's terrible. Who's the poor guy he hit?
He was thrown out of the game. I don't know if I didn't follow up to see if there was a suspension, but
And
it's-
he's out too.
what an unbelievable play that was.
Oof. Yeah,
You can
Crazy.
watch that on our YouTube channel, by the
that's
way.
really bad, man. Holy.
Holy is right.
Yeah, it's a terrible hit.
Steve,
He's going away. Yes.
because I have to go to the bathroom, and because we have to get this in for every show because it's really important, but I haven't set up my page yet, and I don't want to hear
you're a
anything
piece
from
of
you about it.
garbage.
Can you tell us about Easter Seals, where we're at, and I will be right back.
Yes.
Take the mic.
Jesse, would you like to know about Easter seals?
I already know because I've signed up for Easter Seals.
I haven't.
That's great.
Unlike some people here.
So is TJ from Adam's show that he does allegedly.
Nah.
But he's so busy he can't set up his page. We have Harrison Brown on our team, by the way.
Do we?
Again, yes.
That's wicked.
So, Easter Seals, charity,
Yes.
raises money for kids with physical disabilities. What does that mean? What do kids with physical disabilities need? So, when I was younger, I went to Easter Seals camp with my family. For those of you who don't know the story, I'm sure 99% of you do. My sister Rachel has cerebral palsy, as well as autism and several other difficulties. She was born like 4 months premature. All sorts of things. So my parents needed some help. The only way we could get out of the house together as a family, rarely the park, sometimes the park. She didn't enjoy it very much, but sometimes. To this day, it's why I hate the beach. We tried it a few times. God bless my parents for trying to get us out of the house. I hate it to this day because we had some disastrous experiences. We went to Easter Seals camp, and it was bloody fantastic. A completely accessible environment. The kids all had a good time. The siblings all had a good time. The parents were able to rest, and they were also able to have a good time. So That's one of the things Easter Seals does. They helped my family get Rachel a walker. They helped her get a wheelchair, non-motorized, which I think was $800. A motorized wheelchair is $3,500. So
It's so funny you should say the word walker, because that reminds me of the last time Katie Walker donated to my Easter Seals page
yes,
and
what did
pushed
you do?
me closer to $2,000. She donated $75. And if you have money to spare and you don't have 75, but you have 5, if you have 10, anything will help. So if you head to my Twitter profile and clicked on my pinned tweet, you can help me raise money for Easter Seals. Or if you want to support Steve Dangle,
My pin tweet.
you can do it at his pinned tweet as well.
Yeah, all the money goes to the same place. I've raised over $7,500 so far personally. Our team is closing in on 9,000.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
Damn.
I want to hit 50, but like I've personally had, I want to say 155 donors. So
That's cool.
It's some people have corporate sponsors. We haven't been able to secure that yet.
Yeah.
We're it's a group effort. It's a team effort.
Yeah,
So-
we're all trying to individually raise it just through like the generous people in our lives.
Absolutely.
You know?
So
Yeah.
I'm going to play hockey, and I'm going to look terrible doing it. So is Jesse. God love him.
I try hard.
Tries hard.
It's one thing.
We're the plumber line.
You know, guys, I wouldn't start you for the opener or on Hockey Night in Canada. I would
Wow.
start you versus Columbus.
Wow.
So
That's the nicest thing you've ever said about me.
at least I'd start you.
This old man chirped me at Shinny the other day. I went to
What?
50 and up Shinny. They just
did? Why?
They just let me play because they knew I sucked. And I took a shot and I missed the net.
Oh.
And this guy goes, "Wow, that was a near miss." And I go, "That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said about me."
Wow. Well, hey, listen, it's getting better, man.
It is. It is fun. It's getting better. So
All right. So if you want to donate to Easter Seals, you can do that by not supporting Adam and supporting Steve
Ever.
and I.
ever through any endeavor. Yes. Also, I don't know if I said this on the last show. If you go to the Peterborough Pete's
Oh, this is
team
important.
store, they're selling Nick Robertson as a forward shirts.
Which is just amazing.
They're $20 Canadian, and $5 out of those 20 goes towards Autism Ontario.
Wow.
And that was all the fine work of Tamara Burns with the Peterborough Pete's, who I'm not sure maybe listens or whatever, but she helped set up that video that I did with Nick Robertson, who is a Leaf prospect and also a forward.
Yeah, and he's been paired with SDA, who had a rough year last year.
They are
Pretty good?
fantastic. Jesse, can you look up how they did today? Because I know they had a game today. So get this. Leaf fans of the only team that matters. The Peterborough Petes have played 5. Well, they're in the middle of their 6th game right now.
Okay.
They played in 5. Their top scorer, Simeon Dur-Argachintsev, SDA, 2 goals. 12 assists.
Wow.
14 points.
In how many games?
In 5 games.
That's not bad.
Nick
I
Robertson.
think, did he have 17 all of last year?
Let me look. No, goals, I don't think he even hit 10. Last year, with the Peterborough Petes, in 62 games, he had 46
okay.
points. And 6 goals.
Today, Nicky Robs had a goal and an assist.
Okay.
Wow.
So Nick Robertson in 5 games had 7 goals and 4 assists for 11 points. So add to that. In 6 games, he's had 8 goals, 5 assists, 13 points. Did SDA have any points today?
No, he was no
What?
points, -1.
How did he even pull that off? Wow, the beginning of the end. What a slump for SDA.
Has SDA hit a wall?
Probably. 14 points in 5 games. Get out of
Should
here.
James Reimer replace SDA?
You got to ask the question.
Right. That's true. People are asking.
Yeah.
Let's do the press conference.
Quick press conference today.
Dangle press conference.
One question from D-Man Illuminati on our Reddit page. If you guys could quickly rank the 3 Game 7 losses versus Boston in order of most devastating to least devastating.
You suck. What's that person's name?
They said least devastating to most devastating. D-Man Illuminati. It's our most upvoted question on our press conference
That's a
thread.
great question.
Say his name one more time.
D-Man Illuminati.
Hurricane
Sucks!
Pinez. Dude,
We got like
that's a great question.
2 minutes left in our batteries, so if we
Yeah,
could-
let's go quick.
if we could.
I got this one for you. I'll be real quick, okay?
Yeah.
It's in order of years that it happened backwards, meaning that the first Game 7
No way.
was the most heartbreaking. I'll tell you why.
Oh.
It was 4-1. Last year's, not 2019, 2018 loss
I buckled at
was
the
second
knees.
bad because it was like, let's slay the dragon.
Yeah.
Mostly Steve saying that.
Yep. I buckled at the knees in public in 2013.
Yeah,
I
and
literally fell to the ground.
This one, this past year, when they didn't close it in Game 6, even being on this show, I was like, man, I feel like I know what's coming.
Yeah.
I could feel it in my bones.
I was
so that's what
furious because they really seemed like they should have had it. I'm gonna say 2013. Yeah, I
the
physically
worst.
reacted. I fell down. Last year, 2019 was really, really, really shitty. And the year before that, I would say was least shitty because they shouldn't have even been in that Game 7 in the first place, even though they were winning heading into the
True.
third damn period.
The
Yeah, they
correct
probably shouldn't have.
answer is screw you, D-Man Illuminati, for making us talk about
Yeah,
that.
that's right.
Correct.
There you
Couldn't be
go.
a podcast without mentioning it, though.
I really wouldn't.
Hey, everybody, thank you so much for listening. Hit subscribe, tell your friends.
If you really like
If you
it,
really like it,
then rub your hand on the screen and touch our faces.
Yeah,
That's what Steve said.
I can feel you now.
Ice surfing returning to Twitter 7:00 Tuesday evening.
Don't watch it. It's bad.
Watch it. It's a Rogers product. Jesse is propaganda.
It's only second to
That-
the best
d-
network.
That doesn't ignite my excitement.
Rogers Ignite.
That's funny.
Nailed him. And I got the ball back.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at AdamWYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Brought to you by Panago Pizza. Order at panago.com and stuff your face with deliciousness. Connection.